Missed the live show? Don't worry, we recorded it for you. Never miss out on your favourite presenters, guests and makes ever again. Head on over to our YouTube pages to watch back the day's live show and enjoy your favourite demos over and over again. We also have lots of great content exclusive to our YouTube pages, such as product demonstrations, troubleshooting videos, and so much more. Subscribe and turn on the bell notification so you never miss a show or video ever again.
We know that shopping online can be a confusing and sometimes daunting task, and sometimes all you want to do is talk to a human being. Well, our family-run customer service team are on call 24/7. They're full of friendly, warm-hearted individuals, all trained to make your shopping experience as easy and as enjoyable as possible. And not only will they take your order, they will also help and guide you on your shopping journey, so you never miss out.
Hello everyone, my name's Cara Ackerman and I'm absolutely delighted to be here at Sewing Street. I actually originated from Hertfordshire, then went down to Hampshire and then it ended up in the East Midlands. I've been in the East Midlands for about 40 years now, which seems crazy, but 36 of those I actually worked with DMC Creative World, which was wonderful. I really enjoyed that. And then I decided to go freelance, and that's how I got introduced to Sewing Street. I love doing anything to do with textiles, so embroidery, cross stitch, patchwork, done a bit of quilting, bag making, toy making, oh goodness, there's loads and loads of things. What I love doing is just trying something new, and I think one of the tips is don't be frightened of trying something new. You always learn from it, and you know, don't be scared of making mistakes either. We all learn from the mistakes that we make. Little bit about me that you might not know, and that's a bit of a surprise. I once went to the garden party down at Buckingham Palace, the Queen's garden party, for some work that I did with Marie Curie. I was so lucky to go there, and just a wonderful time. So I hope to see more of you on Sewing Street, and I hope to try lots of new crafts with you. So see you again soon. Bye bye.
Good morning and welcome to Sewing Street on Monday the 25th of October today. We've got some wonderful things for you today, including a beautiful William Morris quilt, which I'm going to talk to you about in a minute, and some lovely William Morris fat quarters. We've got the fantastic Barbara Mclay on with us, and on Yarn Lane today we've got Jane Crowfoot, who is just the most fantastic crochet designer. If you know crochet, you'll have heard of Jane. I'm so excited to have her on air. She will be with us at 12. But to start the show, we have got a gorgeous, really cute. I was really excited when Hannah showed these to me today. The early bird. These are going to fly out this morning because not only are they gorgeous, but there's a discount on them because they've got the early bird price. I think they're lovely. I just don't know why I put in mine first. So we've got 3 tins. Look at them. And you can buy them separately or you can buy them in a bundle. Now, there's nothing in these tins. That's the point, because you put whatever you like in them. So I think this one is my favourite. So lovely to look. Now, you can buy them separately, but there is a better deal if you buy them as the 3 bundle. Now, normally they are £5.99 for the tin. Modus, so these are, I know they're tins, not fabric, but they are by Moda. So if you have a look at on the back, they're designed by Paper and Cloth for Moda. And paper and cloth work with Anthology, Paper Chase, Marks and Spencer's, all those people, and they have designed these specially for Moda. So inside the tin, there is an empty space waiting to be filled with all your lovely littleness. Is that a word? Can you say littleness? So this one, so lovely. It's got the sewing machine on, so you could keep your bobbins. Oh, the price is dropping. It was £5.99. Today, £4.99. Now that is the early bird price, so that means that it will only be £4.99 between now and midnight, or unless we sell out, which these are going to fly out because they are gorgeous. So £4.99. Now, Christmas stocking filler. I mean, you don't even need to fill them with sewing things if you don't want to. I mean, what a lovely thing if you're buying somebody jewellery. Personally, what a lovely place to put your thread bobbins in, for that one in particular. But they're so nice, aren't they? They're not shiny either. They're very classy. They're that matte finish. Beautiful old-fashioned sewing machine with, you've got the word sew in the thread and then lovely underneath. There's the size of them on the screen. 8.4 times 10.5 times 2.1 centimetres. So that is the first one. £4.99 for the tin. That's beautiful. But it should be £5.99. So remember, you are saving £1. Now I'll just go through the other one before we show you the special bundle. Next one. Again, this one is designed by Paper and Cloth for Moda. Beautiful pair of embroidery scissors, and those are those really posh safety pins, aren't they? The ones that you get that hang tags on and a button. But beautiful, very, very sort of soft, almost that clay pink colour, and teal and red. Beautiful colours. Again, empty to fill with your own delights. So maybe you could put in here your mini sewing kit. If you're giving somebody a little sewing kit for Christmas, buy a small pair of embroidery scissors, which we sell on the web, packet of buttons, some needles, some safety pins, a few small reels of thread. What a lovely sewing kit. You could give it to someone as a present, as a stocking filler. Put it in your handbag, take it with you on holiday. But that's a lovely present for you or somebody else. Again, £4.99, reduced from £5.99. Only today. The price will go up again after midnight if we've got any left. That is the small So Wonderful scissors tin. And then the final tin, I love this one. And the colours all go together. That's what's lovely if you get the 3-pack. So this one, well, it's for pins. You don't have to put pins in it at all. But it is nice for pins, isn't it? What a lovely place to put all your special pins. So, you know, I'll show you in a minute that we're going the special bundle of all 3. You could fill them all with different things. You could have them for yourself, lovely for your own storage, or get all 3 of them and put different things in them. I mean, it's just a beautiful illustration. It doesn't have to have pins in it. It's just a beautiful illustration, isn't it? And together, the colours all blend beautifully. They're really on-trend colours of raspberry, mustard, teal, dark teal as well. Beautiful colours. So that one as well is £4.99. So if you want to buy any of them separately, you need to put them in your basket and check out, because these are very, very popular. However, if you would like to buy all 3 of them, we have an even bigger discount. All 3. So one of each of the tins. So these have all been reduced already to £4.99 per tin. But if you want to buy all 3 tins, the special price today only is, well, that was £14.97. That was the price for all 3. And that's less than it should be of all of them. And if they were £5.99 each, that's still less than the price of 3 at the full price. There's a discount on that anyway. But we are going to reduce the price to you, and today only it's coming. £12.97. £12.97. So that works out at £4. What did you say, Anna? 27? £4.32 a tin. So they were £5.99 each. If you buy them in this special price, all 3 of them, they work out as £4.32. But you can see together how beautifully they go. So lovely to have them all for yourself. Have them a little stack. Lovely to put. You can have several stacks of them. You know what it's like when you've got all of those buttons and safety pins and you want to store them somewhere. But personally, I would buy the set and I would give them beautiful stocking presents, or just a lovely little present. You know, you want to give a gift to a friend that, you know, or maybe you've got one of those friends who goes, oh, I'd love to be able to sew, but I haven't even got a needle. Fill it with all of those special sewing supplies. But you know the Moda quality. I mean, their fabric is beautiful quality. It's always, well, it's designer quality. And then you look at paper and cloth quality. They designed for, well, as I said, Marks and Spencer's and Paper Chase. and you think of the quality of what their products are, mix those two together, and these are beautiful. The colours are beautiful. Even the back of them, they're all sort of painted in this lovely, you know, the back of that one is pink, then you've got the lovely teal, and then the back of that one is a real sort of pale green. So those kind of chalky colours. But they're just really beautiful. Lovely little present to you or somebody else. And like I said, you don't even need to fill them with sewing things. You can put whatever you like in them. Put them by the front door. You can put all your like loose change in them. On your bedside table for little things. You can put your tablets in them. Very nice place to put your little pack of Nurofen and some plasters, contact lenses, all that sort of thing. You know, perfect for travel. I think I would use this one and fill it with a little sewing kit. But I particularly like the pins one because you sort of feel that's more of an illustration. You don't have to put pins in it. Anyway, special price today if you buy all three, £12.97. Now this is extremely popular. There are loads of you who have these in baskets. Loads. It is buzzing. And remember, the postage and packing is £3.95. So once you've got these in, and that's it, you've done your P&P is done. Remember, there is only one P&P per day. So once you've spent your £3.95, you can check out as many times as you want between now and midnight on Sewing Street and Yarn Lane, covers both channels, and it's only one P&P. So save your money on this. That's almost covered your P&P. Aren't they lovely? But if you have checked out before we crash the price, don't worry. We will only, I promise, charge you the lower price. Because there's a lot of you who check out, because a lot of people check out and it's at the high price, but the money doesn't leave your account till midnight anyway, because obviously you might check out again between now and midnight. So don't worry, you will always pay the lowest price that is quoted on that day, because you won't be charged till midnight, because we keep your basket open till midnight. We don't keep charging you. That's how we managed to do the one P&P, because the basket's kept open there. But yeah, I would have my bobbins in that one sewing kit. Little sweets. Everyone needs little sweets. But they'd be good. Pop them in your handbag. Maybe you like EPP. Really good. You could keep your little EPP shapes. Cut your hexy fabrics in advance. All you need is a needle, a bit of thread. That's your EPP kit, isn't it? Brilliant for someone who's starting, to give them a little bit of encouragement. Anyway, that's the early bird today. Loads and loads of you with them in baskets. Please do check out. We'll come back later if there's any left and we'll give you a reminder. But keep on checking out, please, because they is extremely popular. Lovely, lovely gift idea. Right, so menu today, coming up today on Sewing Street is at 8 o'clock. We have the menu. There is. We have William Morris quilt kit and fabrics. We've got a beautiful quilt, which I will show you later and show you the kit. It is amazing. Everything you need to make this stunning William Morris quilt, and other fabrics too. 9 o'clock, we've got the lovely Barbara Mclay with us, who is showing us what we can do with these beautiful linen look panels, and they've got matching panels with matching half meterage as well. She's got loads of ideas to give you some inspiration of what you can do with those. That's one of the bags she's made, and she's got a little pattern to show her to make this beautiful poo bag holder bag. Poo. I always said poo. I couldn't think of a better word. It's a poo bag. That's it. Anyway, it's a very stylish poo bag holder. That's at 9 o'clock, so she's going to be joining us then. Lots of tips of what you can do with those panels. At 10 o'clock, oh my word, it is already part 10 of Bird of the Month. I cannot believe I've been doing this since January. So this month it's the Goldfinch, and I'm going to show you how to make this fab storage basket. Now, it isn't yet on pre-order. We are sorting that one out at the moment, but it will be. So I'll let you know as soon as it goes on pre-order, because we've got the panels for the Goldfinch, we've got the instructions of how to make the storage basket, which you can use for storing yarn, hooks, needles, fabric, thread, sandwiches, anything you like. Potatoes, fruit, veg. It is the ultimate storage basket with many pockets, and I'm going to show you how to make that at 10 o'clock along with the rest of the bird panels, and in particular the goldfinch, not the goldfish, the not sure where the goldfish is. Yes, it's the bird of the month and the goldfish. No, the Goldfinch. And as soon as it goes on pre-order, I will let you know. 11 o'clock, Barbara will be back with us showing us how to make Christmas bags, Christmas sacks. We've got some fantastic panels for you, really quick makes to make a personalised or non-personalised Christmas sack or bag to wrap your presents in style. Loads of different panels there, and she's going to concentrate as well on how you can embellish them and add your own special finishing touches to them. 12 o'clock, it's Yarn Lane, and we have the fantastic Jane Crowfoot on with us today. Anyone who knows anything about crochet will have heard of Jane Crowfoot, and if you haven't, you are going to love her designs. And as I said earlier, I've been waiting a long time to get her on air, and I had to make sure it was a Monday so that I could meet her and present with her. So it's not a coincidence, I planned this because I'm a bit of a Jane Crowfoot fan. So you will, if you've never done crochet before, stay on air to watch that at 12 because you will love this. Anyway, right. If you want to get in touch with us or with me, you can email us, studio@sewingstreet.com, if you've got any questions or you want to share some photos of things you've made. You can ask me questions, ask Barbara questions. We love to see the things you've made, your own inspiration. So please do message us. Just email studio@sewingstreet.com. You can also contact us on Facebook. You message the studio on Sewing Street TV. So if you go onto if you're watching on Facebook or you go onto Facebook, you can message us that way too. If you're watching on TV, fab, but you can also watch us on the website at www.sewingstreet.com, and you can watch us on Facebook as well. So website, if you have never shopped with us before, the easiest way to do it is on the website. So you click on www.sewingstreet.com. And if you then click on Watch Live, then you can see, there you can send us a little message there. Hi, what's Hannah written? Hello, can we have a little bit more than a hello? And then you have to sign in. Then you can send us a message. Once you've signed in, then it's always done. Now, then if you click on Today's Show Deals, that's everything that I've already shown you and talked about. There it all is. If you click on pre-order to the right of that, that's everything that's coming up. So if you want to get ahead and you want to buy it because you're worried it's going to sell out, everything that's going to be on air today, except for Bird of the Month because that's not on there yet, is on there so you can get ahead, which is really useful when you think, oh, I'd really want to buy that, but I want to concentrate on the demo. Click it on Add to Basket. Remember, it's not yours until you press checkout, but you can do that many times in the day, as many times as you want. Scroll down to see everything that we have got on air for you this morning, and then you can get ahead and buy it. Bird of the Month will be on later, and I will tell you as soon as it's on there. Now look at this behind me. Look at this. Look at this. Now I love William Morris. Who doesn't? Who doesn't? This is beautiful, and this is a fantastic quilt for a beginner or a more experienced person who wants a really quick make, because it's squares. It's just squares, but what I love is that the designer has allowed the pattern to speak for itself, because the beauty of William Morris is in not only the fabric design but also in the colours. It's those beautiful faded William Morris colours in sort of brick red, navy blue, teals, acanthus leaves, strawberry thieves. Now, we have got a limited number of these kits left. We didn't have enough to do the whole demo, so we could not just pop it in. Anyway, the full kit price, I'm going to show you in a minute, but the full kit price is £149.99. And the fantastic thing about that is if you want to spread your payments, you can do. You can split it over 3 equal payments of £49.99. That means it's interest-free. So we're not going to charge you for spreading it, but the way it works is you pay your one payment now, well, after midnight, and then we'll send it to you straight away. You haven't got to wait. And then for the next 2 months after that, we'll take the other two £49.99, and then you don't have to pay for it all in once. But you get that choice. When you check out, you can choose whether you want to do split pay or not. But this is an amazing price for a beautiful quilt. It's 132 by 161 centimetres. So it's a really good size. Beautiful, put on the back of the sofa, hang on a wall. I mean, to me, this is a piece of wall art, isn't it? Insulates your walls as well. But how stunning is that? So shall we have a little look in the kit? It's beautiful. So you have got all the fabric in there for all the front of the quilt, the borders, and the binding as well. All you need to do is provide the wadding and the backing fabric. So in here, you have got 19 different fabrics. So in total, you've got 6 meters of fabric. So you start off full instructions, which I'm going to talk you through in a minute. And then here's the kit. Let's have a little look. Look at it, beautifully wrapped as well. It's like a present to yourself or someone else. What a lovely present. Comes in a nice gift box as well, so very easy to wrap. But isn't that gorgeous? It's sort of like with its black ribbons, very decadent, isn't it? So look at this. Right, so because we are very limited on the numbers of this, when everyone has checked out, we are in single figures, so not many of these left. If you want this quilt, you need to get ahead. So let me move the black out of the way so you can see it. Let's take it out of here and we'll go through the fabrics. So because it's kitted, obviously, you've got the fabric you need. Look at this. You've got the beautiful strawberry thief. I love this it's a William Morris red. It's that sort of very deep, earthy brick red. Absolutely beautiful. So you've got the large strawberry thief. You've then got the mini, same design but smaller scale, mini strawberry thief. Beautiful. This one is from the Mineral collection. Lovely sort of soft navy blue with those lovely iconic William Morris teals. Another one with this lovely brick reddy colour. It's like a terracotta, like a deep terracotta. That's from the Merton collection. Got the beauty of William Morris fabrics, whatever collection they come from, they always go together. Then we've got, I love this spotty one because it's not just a spot. It's a really sort of mixed, multi-size spot. And this one has been developed specially as a sort of a background fabric that will go with all of the others. We've then got the navy strawberry thief, and this one really stands out on the quilt. And because you're cutting it in squares as well, you can cut it so that where you can make sure the birds are in the right place. I'm going to go through these. There's the mini one. You do need to see them all out. The mini strawberry thief. I have to move them a bit now. Lovely. I love this blue one. Marigold, this one's called. Isn't that lovely? I love the two. It's just two-tone, but the colour, the depth of it, and the detail in the design, all the little individual veins of the leaves, so lovely. Love this teal. And what's great when you look at these fabrics is you'll see this colour echoed in other fabrics throughout, so the whole thing really blends together. Which one should we have next? This blue one. There's more. Keep coming out. I told you there's 19 different ones, 19 different fabrics. I have to move over a bit. I'm going through all the darker ones first. Isn't that gorgeous? That is the same print as that one. It's beautiful. This is a lovely Christmas present, isn't it? For somebody who quilts, what a lovely thing to buy them. Or get it now, make it for them. What an amazing gift. I mean, it's a piece of beautiful wall art, isn't it? It means you don't have to be able to paint, but you can give someone a beautiful piece of wall art. And you imagine what you'd pay for a roll of William Morris wallpaper, probably £149.99. Then you go moving on to the lighter fabrics here. This is just to give the quilt some sort of balance and tone. So you've got the mixture between the darks and the lighters. Right, we only have 8 left now. So if you want one, you really need to check out. Look, keeps coming. This is the same print you can see as this one and that one, but all in the different colourways. A lovely taupe colour. And there's another one. So those are all the fabrics that are for the squares on the quilt. Loads of them. Then you've got this beautiful one. Well, this is used for the borders. It's also used for the squares as well, but you'll see this one featured in the borders. And I love this one. When you look at it really closely, look at the hares and the birds. There's the strawberry thief. And there's the rabbits. Hares, sorry, because he always does hares, doesn't he, not rabbits. It's beautiful. Yes, we have a look at the quilt so we can see it. You can see it, look, there it is around the border. It is also used to some of the squares in the quilt, but it looks beautiful on the border. And then the most important part of a quilt is the finishing, isn't it? You've got to get those frames. So this fabric is used. Can you see the this one here, this lovely spot? is used for the inner border between the squares and the outer border, but it's also used for the binding as well. And that effect, doesn't that frame it beautifully? So you can put the fabrics in whatever order you want. I'll show you the instructions in a moment. But the beauty of that border is it just frames it, and it makes the lovely hare and strawberry thief blue fabric border really stand out. And then you use that for the binding as well. So what a fantastic quilt. So if we look at the instructions, they are really, really simple. Tells you all the fabrics that you need, but it's lovely. They've actually put them as pictures as well. Really easy to spot. So when you're looking for, right, fabric H, oh, that's that one. Oh, well, obviously, you know, that's that one there. Really, really easy to match because they're actual photos of them. It tells you as well what you will also need as far as backing fabric. So if you've got normal width fabric, you know, the 44-inch width, you'll need 3.2 metres. If you've got the extra wide, 108, you'll only need 1.6. And then for wadding, you'll need 61 by 72 inches. But that's all in the instructions, tells you everything you need in there. If you go onto the Sewing Street website, we do have extra wide backing fabric. So if you go into that section, go under fabric and the extra wide, you can buy that there, and you'll need to buy, because you need 106, you'll need to buy 2 metres if you use the extra wide, or you'll need to buy 3.5 if you use the normal. And with the wadding, we have loads of different waddings, so go onto the website if you want to buy that as well. Instructions, really simple. Basically, what you do is you cut the fabrics, the main fabrics, not the borders and stuff, into strips, and then you cut them into squares. Now, the best way to do that is obviously with a rotary cutter and a mat. Now, this is a fantastic piece of equipment for cutting full widths of fabric. So as long as you've got your cutting mat, this is a ruler and a cutter in one. So all you do is you lay, I'm not going to do it because I don't want to cut the fabric. You lay it flat, you put your hand down and you cut. So you lay the ruler on top of the fabric to the measurement it says. You can do layers and layers, so you can cut it out very, very quickly. So as long as you've got a mat, you don't need the cutter and the ruler together. And because of the length of this will cover a full width of fabric folded in half. So you can very, very easily cut. It's very safe. You just put your hand, as soon as you release it, the blade is released. So you won't cut your fingers. And it's a really good way of cutting full width fabric very quickly, which is perfect for this quilt. So that's the Fiskars 45mm rotary cutter and ruler combo. And it's got all the measurements on here in 1/4 inch increments as well, so really easy to cut. We had a look at the project and to see which one would be really helpful. This is the one, because you are cutting a lot of strips, and once you cut the strips, then you cut the strips into squares. So what you can do is you can cut more than one layer to cut the strips. You can then stack some of the strips and you can cut several squares at a time. But by having this, it's much easier on the hands as well. So if you find using a rotary cutter makes your hands ache, if you know you have any arthritis problems, this is so much better, because all you're doing is pressing down with the flat of your hand and then releasing. And you can buy spare blades for these as well, so don't worry if they run out. They're just a 45 normal bit. They're the blade that you would put in your normal rotary cutter. They're not special. They are the normal ones. And in the box, it gives you full information instructions of how to change the blades, because it is slightly different. But look, if I turn it over, you can see there's the blades, all enclosed, all safe. But it is exactly the same as your normal 45mm blade. So that is a fantastic addition. If you've got a rotary cutter and you've got a small ruler, but you want to, because basically for the very long rulers, what you are doing with it is cutting across the half width of the fabric. So this is perfect for it, because it's all joined together. Very, very good investment and will last forever. Well, not forever, probably won't last forever, nearly forever. There is also a smaller version. So if you like the idea of, let's put it that way. If you like the idea of this, or if you've got one and you've used these, where you can actually just press it down, this is a smaller ruler, 30 by 30 centimetres, so 12 by 12 inches. So exactly the same principle. It's got all the angles on it as well. So if you want to be able to cut things in a really easy way that stops your hands hurting at all, gives you full instructions exactly on the back of how to change the blade. You can cut up to 8 fabric layers cleanly, so you can get it done much faster. And it's got a 12 by 12 inch grid, all outlined. So $39.99 if you want it's the normal 45mm cutter, but it's 30 by 30 centimetres. But for making this quilt, it really, really will help, because we like to sort of show you tools that will help with the specific projects. Right, so really, how many have we got? 6 of these left. So as I was saying, really simple, easy for beginners. You cut strips of fabric, you cut them in squares, you cut some triangles to add around the edge. There's a lovely, very, very clear diagram of what order to put them in. You can put them in any order you want, but if you want it to be exactly the same as the cover, you lay it all out, sew them together, and then it explains, look, again, very clearly how to put the triangles around the edge, how to put the borders on, and there you go, there's the finished quilt. So if you've not tried quilting before and you're thinking, I'd like to have a go at this, I'd love to make a William Morris quilt, then this is the kit for you. And it's called the tartan quilt because when you look at it in this picture from ahead, you can see the way that the colours have been arranged, it looks like woven tartan. So I'll show you quickly again the fabric that you get. So you get 19 different William Morris fabrics. You've obviously got the fabric that's for the outer border and the binding. You've got beautiful hares and strawberry thief fabric that's used for the border and some of the squares as well. Then you've got all of these beautiful fabrics that are used for the squares, and they range from, you've got the large strawberry thief, the small strawberry thief, you've got the large and the small in the blue as well. Only 5 left now, only 5, so please, if it's in your basket, please check out, because if somebody else puts it in their basket and check out, it comes out of your basket. But you can check out as many times as you want between now and midnight. Don't worry, you will only be charged the 1p and p. You haven't got to wait, but we are down to only 5 left now. You've got these beautiful, I love this one, love that. And what I like is that one is the same echo in the fabric that's used on the border and the binding, but that's part of the quilt as well. But Free Spirit produced these fabrics, and this has all been put together by Free Spirit using their fabrics so that they go together, and they've designed it so it does look like tartan. I think it's really clever, but obviously you can put it in whatever order you want. I mean, isn't it a beautiful range when you look at it? It's a fantastic quilt. I mean, it's absolutely stunning. And it's been quilted really simply. What I love about this is that the piecing is very simple, down to 4 now. Quickly, it's going. Is that the beauty of the quilt is in the fabric. So the piecing is very simple, squares and triangles around the edge and borders. And the quilting that they've put into it is really simple. It's just echo quilting. So it's all straight line quilting. So you can just use the edge of your sewing machine foot to quilt. They've quilted just outside the right, not even every, they've just quilted outside some of the squares. So that's, you can choose what you do. When you look at the picture there, you can see the quilting lines. And the straight edge quilting is so easy. And it's not a massive quilt. You can do this at home. Once you've layered it with once you've made the quilt and you've layered it with the backing and the wadding, just pop that under your machine to quilt it. Lengthen the stitch length to about 3, and if you've got a walking foot, even better. But very, very simple quilting. But isn't this just, it's a work of art. There's only 3 left now. It's only 3. So if you want the quilt, you need to get that in your basket soon, like now. Right, Right, I'm going to leave that with you to think about. I'll move that out of the way. So we've also got, if you're getting William Morris excited, we have got some fat quarters for you. This one is called Twilight. Very, very limited on this fat quarter bundle. There's only 4 of these left. That's what it looks like when it comes to you. There are 10 fat quarters in there, but let me show you which ones you get. These are beautiful. Obviously, very, very iconic William Morris. And remember, these are printed by Free Spirit Fabrics, which means they are beautiful quality cotton and really, really high quality printing, ever so soft. They're quilting weight fabrics, but they feel so soft. So you're paying not only for the William Morris name, but also for the quality of the fabric, because you don't really want to waste beautiful design on low quality fabric, so that you've got the two together. So these are all fat quarters. They are American fat quarters, so they're 18 by 22 inches each, because they do it by the yard, not the metre. You've got that massive acantha sleeve there. I love this one. So you've got this really lovely sort of soft navy background with the teal, and even the mustard colour in here is very gentle. I like this one. It's got oak leaves. I'll turn around that way. Can you see the oak leaf design in it? And it's got little acorns as well. Can you see the acorns? Coming in closer, focusing on the acorn. Gorgeous, aren't they? I mean, look at the quality of the design and the print in there. $39.99, and you get 10 fat quarters. Just think of all the beautiful William Morris things you can do with this. Or just keep the fat quarter pack and use them for little things. There's so many things you can make with just one fat quarter. Then you've got the this lovely blue one. So this one is in the quilt. I really like that one. You've got a lot of detail on that one. That's called the marigold. Then you get the lovely mini strawberry thief. Okay, I'll turn him around so you can see him. Look. Really nice. And you also get in this one the gorgeous hare and strawberry thief. This is the one, I'm going to open it out so you can see. This is the one, that's the size of the fat quarter. This is the one that's in the big quilt that I loved so much. But that comes in this one. This is called Brer Rabbit. Oh, maybe they are rabbits then. William Morris normally does hares, but the fact it's called Brer Rabbit, it must be rabbits. I'm not really sure of what the difference biologically between a hare and a rabbit is, but he normally does hares, but as this is called Brer Rabbit, it must be a rabbit. But that one is in this fat quarter packet. Let me just fold him up again. So it looks nice. You also get that lovely large strawberry thief. So you get the large one and the small one. So lovely, isn't he? I see, if you use this and use it for some, if you've got any left over, keep them. Wouldn't it be nice to just cut out the individual bird? Lovely to applique on something. And he's really crying out to be embroidered. So maybe you want to make a little purse from one of these fat quarters. Or a little cosmetic purse. You could cut out a pair of the birds and embroider them. Just a little bit of backstitch over the wings. That's absolutely gorgeous. So you could think, well, I'm going to make something from all of them, or just keep them for specific things, or just even one of the birds. They are beautiful, aren't they? This is the sort of fabric, a bit like your Liberty, that you keep all the scraps of, because there's so many things you can do with it, because there's a lot of detail in here. So that's the large strawberry thief. You also get that lovely spot that's used in the main quilt on the border, which is a really nice background fabric. So you've got a lot of detail here, but you've also got some of the more low volume fabrics. And then finally, I'm going to go open this one out because this is a larger scale design, so you can see what it looks like. We have got, let's get the right way around, this one here, which has got the larger birds on it. It's lovely, isn't it? It's got the same blue backgrounds, but it's almost like a piece, a work of art, isn't it? It's got like all the tree. It's definitely a one direction, but you've got the tree and almost like pomegranates within it, and then birds. So you've got lots of different scales of fabric in this fat quarter pack, but all of the colours really go together, obviously because it's been selected. So that's what it looks like. That's what you'll get, and then when you open it up, that's what it turns into. $39.99. Now we are down to single figures on this one, so if you want this fat quarter pack, you really need to get it in your basket. So, oh yes, we've got a beautiful neutral one. I'm just going to fold these up, otherwise I'm going to get confused, aren't I? Confused with what's what. Aren't they lovely? It's quite nice having a look through them again. Blues. I'm never really sure which colour I like the best. I love the shade of navy that's in this one, but then I really like that iconic brick red. And then we've also got the teals one. oh, I don't know. I tell you what, the good thing is as well, that all of these fabric colourways go together beautifully as well. So if you buy more than one of these fat quarter packs, that you know that they'll all go together, because a lot of the colours in these fabrics are in the other collections. So it doesn't matter if you wanted to buy more than one, then you will get all of them. So there's the, because as you can see, the quilt on the wall has got the blues, it's got the parchments, it's got the reds, it's got the teals. You can see they all go together. So if you think, well, I want to buy just 2 of the fat quarter packs, any of them will go together. So that's what it looks like. And this is what you get in the pack. So this is all your sort of neutral colours. You've got the neutral leaves. Then you've got this lovely one. Again, this is like the acanthus leaf design, but in neutral colours, which are very, very popular at the moment. A lot of quilts being made in these sort of nude neutral colours. Again, this one is the oak leaves and the acorns, but in beautiful neutrals. It's so classy, isn't it? I mean, that fabric, you don't really need to do anything with it, just speaks for itself. Beautiful. Imagine if you made yourself a tote bag in one of these. Lovely present. Buy the fat quarter pack. You can make everyone a tote bag for Christmas. You know, when you're in the supermarket, you just get your bag out because you've only bought a few things. Look very lovely, wouldn't it? Really nice to line something with as well. So maybe you've got a bag already and you want to put a lining in it, or maybe if you're using denim to make a bag, one of these fabrics on the lining of it would look absolutely stunning. I love this one because it features the sort of the pomegranate pattern, and I like the way you've got all the tones. So you start on the darker, deep sort of chocolatey brown, and then you move through to the lighter taupes. And you've got this one. Again, it's all beautifully faded. That's the same as this one, but with just the colour taken out more. And you've got this lovely intertwining vine. And then I like this one because it's like sort of a geometric trellis. But again, using this lovely soft taupe parchmenty colourway. But you see a lot of quilts at the moment that are made using these very neutral tones, because it just goes with everything. So if you make something with one of these, it will go with everything else. So this fat quarter pack will obviously is probably the one that will definitely go with everything, because a lot of the patterns and the prints in here are repeated in the prints in these colourways. So the oak leaf one that you have there is repeated, and that is the same as the oak leaf one that's in the blue that I showed you earlier. So if you had the blue fat quarter pack, that would go beautifully with this parchment one as well. So again, $39.99 for 10 beautiful parchment fat quarters. It's just tricky, isn't it, deciding which one? But we've got 4, so you could have all 4 of them. You've got 40 fat quarters then. Can you imagine the size of the quilt you could make with that? It would be gorgeous, but we are down to very low numbers on these. Red one is next. I'll be there in a minute. I've got to fold them back up again, otherwise we'll get really confused. So next we've got the red one. I think this is my favourite one. I love the William Morris red. So that's what the fat quarter pack looks like. Again, 10 fabrics, antique red. So in this one we have the marigold fabric. Then we've got the large acanthus leaf. So you've got different scales of prints here, and a much deeper, richer red with the very sort of pale, dusty teal that's picked out in that one. Obviously, we have the strawberry thief, the baby strawberry thief, and then we have, I'm going to go through these because I bet we've got, yes, the big strawberry thief. There he is, like that. You've got the baby strawberry thief and the big strawberry thief. I love him in red. He's gorgeous, isn't he? And then look at the size, the scale of this print. This one's massive. Look at that one. It's beautiful, isn't it? Love the background. You've got all this sort of this leafy background, but it really makes the flowers and the teal leaves really jump out of that one. That is a stunning fabric. So you're probably starting to recognise some of these now as being in the main quilt kit, because you've got this lovely red multi-spot one that's in the main one. This one's lovely, isn't it? This one's really colourful as far as not bright colourful because it wouldn't go with the others, but isn't that stunning? So you've got a lot of teal in here, but you've got these antique reds as well. Now there are less than 20 of these. I mean, look at that. Cover a notebook. Well, imagine a notebook covering that would be absolutely beautiful. And a fat quarter would be enough to cover an A5 notebook. It would look stunning, wouldn't it? And that's the beauty of these fat quarters. There's so many different small projects that you can make with them. So you buy somebody a notebook, you can get them from a stationer's for about £2.99 and then use one of these to cover it. Absolutely gorgeous. Then you've got lovely, you've got this red is running throughout. It's really sort of faded antique red. It's very hard to choose which pack. I think the red's my favourite. I don't know why. And then this one it's got a lot of navy in it, but it does feature the red as well. This is from the Montague collection called Wandle. I wonder what Wandle means. Wandle. Look at that. Isn't that lovely? So that is the fat quarter pack in the antique red. 10 pieces, £39.99. Oh, it's lovely, isn't it? Just lovely. You actually just have them and stack them on your shelf. You could just frame them. They're so beautiful. You could buy picture frames and put them inside. You don't even need to have the glass on them because they could just be there, look lovely. If you stretch them around a piece of board, if you put a piece of wadding underneath, then it makes them slightly padded, but they make beautiful pictures because the fabric is so lovely, isn't it? It's almost like that's the best way to show them. But that's why I think they work beautifully as well. Obviously quilts on your bed, but also wall hangings because they stand up so well. And I've got one more colourway for you, which is the teals. So this one, the pack looks like this. Graphics are just coming in for that one. That was the red one. Seafoam, this one is called. But it is like the teal colourway. So in this one, we have... I'm going to go through them and find the ones I want first. We've got the large Strawberry Thief. Looks lovely on that colourway, doesn't it? Really soft. And then we have the small Strawberry Thief. And I like the way that the large one is in the sort of paler, softer teal. And then the small one is in the deeper teal. That's lovely. Then we have... Ooh. We've got this. I'm going to have to open this one out. I absolutely love this one. Look. Isn't that lovely? This one's called Forest. So you've got the peacock, beautiful fox, definitely a hare. It's gorgeous, isn't it? I love that. You almost feel like you want to cut these out specifically to use for things, or even if you were just using it for squares. And again, if you wanted to use one as a feature, maybe you know somebody who loves foxes, fox purse. You could just cut out bits or use it as a whole piece of fabric, but this is beautiful, isn't it? So this is called Forest from the Standen collection. But again, the colourway is gorgeous, so you can just use it to cut for pieced work, but you'll then get little snippets of the animals in it. I've got this lovely smaller print, but with the lovely deep teal background, the same as the one on the mini Strawberry Thief, all intertwining flowers and roses. Acorns and oak leaves, again. We've also got the mini Strawberry Thief in the teal, so we've got it in the same as this one. Those two go together, so you've got the mini in the dark teal and the light teal. So the colourway that we started with, the blue one, this one here, there's only one of these left. Just so you know, if you want to have one of these, you need to pop it in your basket because we've only got one left. This reminds me of absolute iconic William Morris wallpaper. The sort of thing you see people with their covered with sofas or in their wallpaper is this print here. Got this lovely marigold print again that we've seen in all the collections in this lovely pale teal. Well, it's called Seafoam, but I think of it as teal. Then we have this lovely, beautiful flowers and vines and leaves, all with lots and lots of detail and shading. And then I'll open this one up as well, the beautiful blue one that we've got in the main quilt with the Brer Rabbit with the rabbits and the Strawberry Thief. We've got that in this sea foam colourway. That's the one that's on the main quilt, but in a different colour. So all you got to do is choose which one. It's not easy, is it? So we are on limited numbers of all of these. So if you want one of these fat quarter packs, you need to put it in your basket and check out very soon. Right, the best seller today so far is this beautiful quilt kit, of course. Now we're in very, very low single figures. That means less than 5 left. How many have we got left then, Hannah? How many have we got left? 2 of the quilt kits left. So in the kit, you get in total over 6 meters of fabric. You get 19 different fabrics, all free spirit quality, all William Morris prints, full instructions, all come beautifully packaged in the box, wrapped in tissue paper, tied in a ribbon, makes a beautiful present for somebody, or you can make it for somebody, or just don't bother and keep it for yourself. Start off making it for someone else and go, no, I'm not sure they want it, love it as much as I will. There are only 2 of them left. Remember, if you want to spread the payments, we can do it, split it over 3 months. So you pay $49.99 per month. But don't worry, as soon as the payment comes out of your account, which will be after midnight, we will send it to you straight away. You haven't got to wait for 3 months. We then take the payment from you the next month and the next month until it's fully paid. But you don't have to split that. That's merely an option. That's totally up to you. But $149.99 to make this beautiful quilt. So if you haven't shopped with us before, you need to have a look on the website. So if you click on sewingstreet.com and then click on watch live, that's the important bit, or you won't get onto the website. Click on watch live, and then if you scroll down, you can see today's show deals. Now that is everything that I've already shown you. Oh, the Twilight sold out. More importantly, on pre-order. So this is everything that's coming up very, very soon. So there's everything for the next hour. If you carry on scrolling down, oh, is it here? Bird of the month. It's here. There he is. So there's the bird of the month storage basket. So you can now get ahead. You can buy the storage basket instructions. You can buy the kit where you save £1 if you buy the instructions and the Goldfinch panel together. You can buy just the Goldfinch panel. And also, if you have missed out on any of the bird of the months, we have all of the others there too. So that will be on at 10 o'clock when I'll be showing you how to make that. So if you want to get ahead and you want to get your bird of the month panel or kit or just instructions, they are on pre-order now. Right, which one should we do? Tim Holtz. Oh, I love Tim Holtz. I said to Hannah this morning, is that this one here? Which one can I have? So because I saw Stuart had these on the other day. And I said to him, how did it go? How did it go? I love Tim Holtz fabric. It's gorgeous. So we had a very long chat just talking about the beauty of how much we love Tim Holtz. His design is unique, unusual, iconic. It's beautiful. He merges together maps, graphics, typefaces, colours, prints, layers it all up to make the most beautiful pieces of fabric. They're like works of art. Now in this first one, it's this fat quarter pack. There are 20 different fat quarters. So let's have a look through them. Just want to give you an idea. If you've not seen Tim Holtz before, you need to have a look. It's like a scrapbook, isn't it? So he's put together all sorts of different things, and then what he does, he then layers on top. So he's put together as a scrapbook all these different images, there's banknotes, and then he puts lettering and stamps and all different things on them. So each piece of fabric is just a thing of beauty in itself. But when it's put together, if you put it all together with other fabrics, or you make a quilt from it, it just speaks for itself. Now in here, you get 20 fat quarters. 20. So there's one. I mean, these are so unusual, aren't they? Look at this one. It's like, when you look at them really closely, I mean, not only has it got beautiful colours in it, but it's also got it's got receipts and bills and different numbers, and I mean, just so interesting. Where do you ever get things like that? And they're lovely for fussy cutting, because here and there you just find little bits. Down here, look, there's a little bit of a receipt, an old receipt, lemons, and then, but it's all layered and layered. I mean, he's just a graphic genius, really. He must collect so much stuff. And then he has some lovely in here as well. You've got these lovely background fabrics. That's gorgeous, isn't it? So it's a lovely burnt colour, but you've got all the sort of the spots on it as well. And then you've got exactly the same fabric, but in teal. There's no one who does anything like Tim Holtz does. But I love the way that this collection of 20 fat quarters, they all go together beautifully. It's only $79.99 and you get 20 of them. But they've got the most beautiful colours that all go together. There's another one of these gorgeous prints, the same as this one, but all in different colours. You've got the lovely, the sort of rusty, spotty fabric in the deep red. Let me open this one up. Look at that. That's gorgeous, isn't it? It's like watercolour roses, but then overprinted with other things as well. Absolutely stunning. I just love Tim Holtz. I do think he's a genius. Don't know how he does it. So clever. Let me fold it. Put that one back there. Then you've got another one of these gorgeous rusty prints. There. Look at this one. This is bottle tops. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? You sort of feel like you want to cut out each one of them. Wild cherry, grape soda, cocoa cream soda, black cherry, golden ginger ale. It's gorgeous, isn't it? And all on this sort of background fabric that's very, very similar to these. I love that one. You've got another super bright one. There are less than 20 of these left, and I'm not sure whether we'll be able to get them again. I mean, when I show them like this, you can just see the beautiful colourways, but they are all printed with all sorts. This one is gorgeous. This gives you a real flavour of what Tim Holtz is all about. If I open this one up for you. Look at that. It's just a whole collage of receipts and bills and postcards. I've used these absolutely loads for cutting out small things. I made a little first aid kit and just cut out the front of one of these for it, and then appliqued on top of it, because I love the way that you get the words. They look beautiful for the linings of things, because they're really stunning. So if you want something with a really interesting lining, again, my Tim Holtz has its own pile on my shelf, and I just use it for very special things. But you want to just put something, or even, you know, maybe you've made like a little bag for someone, you want to put a little label on it. You can cut out some of these and even embroider on it and write on it yourself. I just love it. There's so much in here. But even a pocket. I put a pocket onto one of my denim pinafores from Tim Holtz, and it looked amazing, because it's just so unusual. That I love fabric that has different prints and particularly writing on it. This one's nice, isn't it? This has got, I'll open that one out for you. That one has postmarks all over it, different postmarks and signatures and writing and calligraphy. Then you've got this beautiful one that's got roses and stripes. Look, we've got Vogue dress pattern covers, and then we've got then you get receipts and bills, a little bit of ticking. This is like almost a mood board from a tailor's or a dressmaker's. So again, beautiful as a piece of fabric in itself, but lovely to cut certain pieces out of. So maybe you were making, you know, you make cosmetic bags that have got box bottoms and you want to put a border across the bottom, just that piece there. When you look at my Tim Holtz collection at home, it's got all little bits cut out of it, because you can use them for all different things. But all of this collection all goes together. You've got a beautiful choice of prints and colours. You've got this lovely like salmon pink one, which is the same as this print here and those two. You've got the same print that's in a navy. It's just gorgeous. Every time I look at these fabrics, I think, right, I need to just buy a load and just make a whole quilt. And look at that one. That's gorgeous, isn't it? I like that. This is, yeah, I've actually got to have to read this one now. We can fit short and stout, tall and slim, and extra large men in any size. Note prices regarding extra sizes. That's great, isn't it? You could sew that to the front to someone's shirt, couldn't you? Men's fine dress shirts. I love that. I like the we can fit short and stout. Note prices regarding extra sizes. So we'll do whatever you want, but we'll charge you loads more for it. And then it's got those sort of real traditional tacking tailor stripes on it. And actually, this fat quarter here is just the background of it. So in your fat quarter pack, you'll get a lot of these where you'll get pairs or threes that all go together. It's just lovely. I always want to make a quilt out of these because I always think if you've had this lying on your bed, actually maybe this one needs to be a wall hanging one. It'd be so interesting to look at. And actually you wouldn't need to care about the colour you use because all of these just go together. It's a beautiful mosaic quilt. There we go. So that is the bold fat quarter pack, 20 fat quarters for $79.99. Absolutely stunning, if not only for the short and stout quilt, the short and stout dress shirts fabric. I love that one. Okay, so I'm going to move that. This one. Okay, this is this is well. Because I'm really not that one. This one. Okay. I'm allowed to have the one that's been opened. So this is your neutral one. So I'm going to have to show this quite quickly because I'm running out of time. But I'll show you them all. So you've got your marble, beautiful, deep chocolate brown. It's like a cracked leather sofa. That's not an expression I expected to say. A cracked leather sofa. That's beautiful. That's like your sort of the Viennese tiles, isn't it? Oh, when you get to someone, you go, oh, I've got to open this out. Got to open this one out. Look. Clocks. Gorgeous. And then in the background, you've got like a railway timetable. I think that's what it is anyway. Clocks. And then we've got a map, obviously. Then we've got that lovely... And then you've got lovely sort of... You know, it's like your plain fabric, only it's not plain because it's got all these layers of colour. I love this one. Look at that. That's beautiful, isn't it? And you've got the same fabric, but in a lighter colour. They are lovely. I've used these fabrics when you want to create like a wood or a cork kind of effect in a plique or something. They work really well. If you use them as the little roofs for things, I love them for that. This one again is your mixture of different typefaces. Oh, look at this one. I've not seen this one before. This is like roof. Ooh. Ooh, I like that. That's like those old wooden rulers and tape measures. Gorgeous. I think I'd get that. I think that might be my favourite one of the day. Well, I haven't gone through them all yet. That's nice, isn't it? Again, lots and lots of different receipts. Love that one. But isn't it a lovely palette though? You've got the sort of the deep chocolatey browns, and now we're moving around to the warmer browns. You've got that lovely background fabric there. This one has got music all over it. Music and birds' nests. Music and birds' nests, that one is. And again, you've got more music here, but this is where your real collage comes in because you've got music notes in amongst receipts and then what do they call these? Biological drawings. There's a name for them, I'll think of it in a minute. Of butterflies. Botanical prints. Lovely newspaper prints. Look at this one. I love that. Actually, this is all definitions of words out of dictionaries. That's your dictionary print. Very nice for covering things like lampshades. Book bag. Perfect for a book bag. Lovely one here. That one's just all very handwritten, annotated music. Nice. Morning, Elliot. Morning. Elliot's made me a cup of tea. I said, please, can you empty the kettle and then fill it back in? I do need to have fresh water. Hannah looked at me like I was mad. Very fussy. I said, in fact, if Elliot comes in, can you ask him to make me a cup of tea? Because he's the only one who knows how to do it properly. Thankfully, Elliot is in today. It was never going to happen, was it? I get substandard cups of tea otherwise.
Carol makes me make hers.
Does she? He has to make Carol's as well. Because he makes a good cup of tea, though. I think that's a life skill, is knowing how to make a decent cup of tea. Love that one with all the rulers. 1 foot, 2 foot. This is beautiful, isn't it? There's just so many different prints and things. Honestly, I always have, when I start running out of Tim Holtz, because I have to buy a little bit more, I buy another fat quarter bundle, because there's always so many things you can do with it. I mean, this is a beautiful collage. Look at this one. You've got receipts and boarding passes and just everything. It's like someone's got all the receipts and then layered them all up. How he does this. Information for bearers of passports. Late sitting, breakfast, 9:15 a.m. So maybe you wanted to make somebody a passport cover or a little travel wallet, or even a wash bag specifically just to take on your sort of weekends away or holidays. Be perfect. And 2 more in this bundle. Oh, message from Jan. What crazy fabric, yet so appealing. I'm totally with you. It is crazy, but it's gorgeous, isn't it? I absolutely love it. And I love this one. It's like, how does he do that? You've got all these sort of receipts and numbers, and then all the colours merge together. It's crazy, but beautiful. And it's lovely. And even if you cut it up and make it up into something else, there's always a little bit of interest that will come out. So that is the, what's this one called? The neutral fat quarter, 20 pieces, $79.99. Absolutely gorgeous. Now I've got to fold it all back up again. That's going to take some doing. Anyway. So that's the Tim Holtz. We've also got another 2 bundles which are on the website if you want to see them. Do you want me to go through those, Hannah? Okay. On the right. Okay. Right, so this is a lovely bundle. Now this is half meters. I have to move that and put it back in the right place. So in this bundle, there is 6 meters. You're getting half a meter for free. So these aren't fat quarters anymore. They're half a meters, which is why it's $84.59. So I am going to show you each of them because they are beautiful. These look like the numbers you get on a cricket scoreboard, don't they? Brilliant, just to cut the numbers out. They're just gorgeous, aren't they? If you were doing something for a special birthday and you wanted just numbers, lovely for that. This is that gorgeous shirt fabric that was in the blue in the other bundle, but bigger. We can fit short and stout, tall and slim, and extra large men. That's really funny. Love that one. So you get that one in a really lovely sort of ivory colour. Really nice charcoal, so that's another half a metre. This one, this is like, I think like the signs that you get in trains or in the subway, that's what it is. Coney Island Bay, Queen's Plaza, 4th Avenue, Kings Highway. The botanical drawings again, well they're not botanical, but line art drawings of butterflies. Lovely to just cut these out individually. You're getting all of this, all of these, half a metre of this is free. £7.69 saving. Love this one for maps. But what's lovely about it, it's maps cut out and put onto maps as well. So you've got a bit of Australia here. It's not all in the right order, but if you wanted something with that map effect, it's not a map as a whole. You've got all of the different things. Isn't that gorgeous? Lovely, like decking, like that stripped, like that bleach pine decking effect. And then you've got technical illustrations, obviously, of aeroplanes and helicopters. Instruction sheet, follow carefully. I love that. It's quite a boy fabric, isn't it? But it is It's just lovely, isn't it? And you're getting half a metre of each of these, but then you get a very simple one, just some stars if you wanted something to go with it. But what a lovely lining for a wash bag. Shame to put it in the lining, but it sort of feels like that, doesn't it? Gorgeous. Every alphabet you can think of in this one. We are going to go to break. I'm just going to show you the last two. That one, I've got some of this one at home. I love this one because look, it's all got drawings of cutting out sleeves and dressmaking, technical dressmaking, and then you've got one with graph paper on it with the times tables, which are very important, and then a lovely just geometric print. So in that pack you've got half a metre free, 6 metres of Tim Holtz fabric, absolutely stunning, £84.59. So have a look on the website, it's all there. Click on watch live, scroll down, and then you can have a choose of which one of these beautiful fabrics you want. So we're going to go for a break now, just so we can, when we go for a break, we don't actually have a break. What we do is we take all the products off and we put them away. We run around like mad and we get all the new products off and we clean the desk and we get the guests back on. So when we say break, we don't actually sit down and have a cup of tea. Just in case you wonder why we've been gone for 3 minutes, it does mean we're just getting everything off to put everything back on again. So I will see you in 3 minutes after my 3-minute run around. Bye.
Missed the live show? Don't worry, we recorded it for you. Never miss out on your favourite presenters, guests and makes ever again. Head on over to our YouTube pages to watch back the day's live show and enjoy your favourite demos over and over again. We also have lots of great content exclusive to our YouTube pages, such as product demonstrations, troubleshooting videos, and so much more. Subscribe and turn on the bell notification so you never miss a show or video ever again.
We know that shopping online can be a confusing and sometimes daunting task, and sometimes all you want to do is talk to a human being. Well, our family-run customer service team are on call 24/7. They're full of friendly, warm-hearted individuals, all trained to make your shopping experience as easy and as enjoyable as possible. And not only will they take your order, they will also help and guide you on your shopping journey, so you never miss out.
Stuck for ideas for the perfect gift? Why not get them a gift card? You can buy Sewing Street and Yarn Lane gift cards loaded up with anything from £10 to £500. Shop our gift cards online at www.sewingstreet.com or www.yarnlane.com, or purchase them via our UK call centre on 0800 001 44 33.
Hello everyone, my name's Cara Ackerman and I'm absolutely delighted to be here at Sewing Street. I actually originated from Hertfordshire, then went down to Hampshire and then it ended up in the East Midlands. I've been in the East Midlands for about 40 years now, which seems crazy, but 36 of those I actually worked with DMC Creative World, which was wonderful. I really, really enjoyed that. And then I decided to go freelance, and that's how I got introduced to Sewing Street. I love doing anything to do with textiles, so embroidery, cross stitch, patchwork, done a bit of quilting, bag making, toy making, oh goodness, there's loads and loads of things. What I love doing is just trying something new, and I think one of the tips is don't be frightened of trying something new. You always learn from it, and you know, don't be scared of making mistakes either. We all learn from the mistakes that we make. Little bit about me that you might not know, and that's a bit of a surprise. I once went to the garden party down at Buckingham Palace, the Queen's garden party, for some work that I did with Marie Curie. I was so lucky to go there, and just a wonderful time. So I hope to see more of you on Sewing Street, and I hope to try lots of new crafts with you. So see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Missed the live show? Don't worry, we recorded it for you. Never miss out on your favourite presenters, guests and makes ever again. Head on over to our YouTube pages to watch back the day's live show and enjoy your favourite demos over and over again. We also have lots of great content exclusive to our YouTube pages, such as product demonstrations, troubleshooting videos, and so much more. Subscribe and turn on the bell notification so you never miss a show or video ever again.
Stuck for ideas for the perfect gift? Why not get them a gift card? You can buy Sewing Street and Yarn Lane gift cards loaded up with anything from £10 to £500. Shop our gift cards online at www.sewingstreet.com or www.yarnlane.com, or purchase them via our UK call centre on 0800 001 44 33.
Whew, God, I'm exhausted. Right, welcome back to Sewing Street. Right, we've got everything off and everything back on again, so we're ready for you. Now, we have got some amazing bundles for you. This is my favourite one, the duck. We used to have ducks. But I used to have Aylesbury ducks. One was called Daffy and one was called Jemima. But this is a mallard. I loved my ducks. Now, this one is brand new. Look, isn't he? I know it's a he, because he's got a boy head, doesn't he? Well, I don't know, actually. Don't the male mallard ducks, aren't they greener? I wonder whether this is a male or a female. Do you think that's a boy or a girl? He's got a very beautiful head, hasn't he?
He has, yeah.
But he is beautiful, isn't he? With his lovely, it's all watercolour. So in this bundle, you get the panel. It's all cut out to the square. And it's beautiful, isn't it? It's like watercolour. And his feet are sitting just inside of it. He really is looking at you. But you don't get just this. You also get ½ metre. This gorgeous, it's not quilting weight fabric. It's like a linen effect, but it's more canvas, but not that sort of thick canvas. It's more like curtain fabric weight, I guess. But it's 140 centimetres wide. Loads of it. So you get ½ metre of that. And that has the little ducks on. So let me put it with the panel. So you get the panel of the big duck, like that. And then you get ½ metre of the matching fabric that goes with it. And it's this lovely natural linen colour background. Oh, message from Deborah. So cute ducks. You're right. They're gorgeous, aren't they? Absolutely love them. But I really like the way that you get the ½ metre of the matching fabric. So if you're going to make a cushion, I mean, it's looking to be a cushion, is it? You've got this for the front, and then you can put this on the back. Or what you can do is you can make 3 cushions. So you could have this for one cushion, and then you can use the others for the other 2, and then have another fabric on the back. Lots of different things. Maybe you wanted to make a tote bag or something for storage, all different things. But you've got in the bundle, that's a fantastic price, isn't it? £8.48. So you get the panel, and you get ½ metre of fabric, and it's just a miniature version of the big ducks. So if you've got any left over, do keep the little ones, because they're really cute. You can put them on other things. So that is the mallard duck. I love him, and he is brand new. Let me just fold him up, put him out the way. Now, we've got exactly the same idea, but other animals. Do like the duck, though. The fawn. Right, I've also got a fawn. Now, on pre-order, this is the most popular. Oh, this is gorgeous. I do like this because it's a really lovely, like, linen coloured background. It's beautiful. Again, this one is brand new, the fawn. Look at that little face. That's lovely. What's the size of this? Let me get my tape measure. It is...
Is it 18?
18 inches. So these are 18 inches square. That's before you sew it. So, you know, obviously 70, if you're using ½ inch seam allowance to sew it together, but cut, it's 18 inches square. It's gorgeous, isn't it? But very beautiful. And it's lovely because you've got the linen effect background, but then it's like a colour wash. You can see So it's 80% cotton, 20% polyester, which is lovely. So it's mainly cotton, but the polyester just gives it that softness and slight flexibility and stops it creasing so much. But you've got a watercolour wash in the background. It is just beautiful painting. And then obviously you get as well, so it's not I would have thought it'd be £8.48 just for the panel, but no. You get 1/2 metre of the fabric with the mini fawns printed all over it, facing in different directions as well. So obviously it goes together absolutely perfectly with the panel. It's a shame to have one without the other. That's why we bundled them together. Gorgeous, isn't it? That's an amazing price. So again, you know, you can use that to back a cushion or a bag, or you can use this to make matching items as well. So maybe you want thinking, oh, I'd like to make like a long doorstop, or a longer cushion, or a round cushion. You've got all that anyway. Barbara's going to show us about round bolster cushions in just a moment. Right, so that's the fawn. Now we've also got a hedgehog. Look at this little hedgehog. Beautiful, very talented artist. Now we've had this little pair of beauties on once before, and we sold hundreds of them, and I'm not surprised. Are they not gorgeous? Look at their little faces. They're so sweet, aren't they? And obviously, as with the others, in the bundle, you get 1/2 metre of the matching mini hedgehogs. Look. They're really cute, aren't they? But they are sort of curtain weight, so they're a really, really nice weight. So if you wanted to make something, you know, like an overnight bag from the 1/2 metre, you've got, it's that lovely, just slightly thicker than your quilting weight cotton, but because it's got that 20% polyester in it, it does have quite a nice drape. It's quite soft, but it is heavier weight than your normal quilting weight cotton. But you can see now, your close up, you can see the weave in it. It's beautiful and really nicely printed as well. I mean, that's amazing that you get 1/2 metre fabric and a panel for less than £10. I thought it was £8.48 for the panel. Very strange. Anyway, let's go with it. Let's go with it. That's what it says. Now I've got dogs. This is the one I haven't seen before. So I'm going to get this one out first. I've seen the other two. Look at this one. This is the sheep dog. So, look. This is the sheep dog who's going to a party. Because he's got his bow tie on. I love that. It's really nice, isn't it? With this gorgeous sort of orangey yellow wash behind him. So again, 18 inches square. It's lovely. It's digitally printed. I wondered how they've done it. It's beautiful, isn't it? It's very clear though, because the actual clarity of the colours and the print and the lines are very, very clear. It's very high quality printing. Then you've got 1/2 metre of the matching fabric to go with it. With the miniature dogs. But they are exactly the same with their little bow ties. So if you know somebody who loves the sheepdogs, this is for them. It's really nice. I do like his bow because I mean, it's incredibly, it's obviously a watercolour illustrations. It's incredibly detailed, but it comes out beautifully because I wonder if they tried lots of different ones, whether they all work. But that is very good, very, very realistic. So that's the sheepdog. Next we have a Dalmatian. A Dalmatian with a bow tie. Obviously. I like him, look. He's like in a big blue splash. He's so cool. He's got blue sunglasses, a blue bow tie, and in a big blue aqua sort of turquoisey splash. Again, this is cut around the 18-inch border. And then we have 1/2 metre of the matching background miniature Dalmatian fabric to go with it. £8.48 for both of those, not just one, but both of those. So if you're a bit of a fan of 101 Dalmatians or Cruella, this is perfect, isn't it? Isn't he lovely? And remember, you know, when you get it, you can just use this to make a cushion or bag, but you can quilt it as well. Look really nice, very, very simple. You could all over quilt it, or you could quilt around the edge of it, or you could add some applique to it. You could, you know, trace around this and add an applique bow tie to it. Lots and lots of different things. But the good thing is that, you know, you don't have to. You can keep it very, very simple. But when you get beautiful illustrated fabrics like this, it's always crying out for a bit of embellishment as well. So that's that one. And then the last one is the French Bulldog. He's got glasses on as well, obviously. These would make a lovely pair, wouldn't they? I think these two go together really well, the Dalmatian and the French Bulldog, because they both got bow ties and glasses on, but he's got a lovely jadey emerald background to him. So sweet. What a lovely Christmas present for someone. If you know someone who's got one of these dogs, just buy the panel and make them something. They're just lovely. Or, but if you can't have a dog and you just love them, you could put this on your sofa. It's like having a dog in your house. But you never have to take it for a walk, no mess, don't have to feed them. And then you've got 1/2 metre of the linen background fabric to go with it. So £8.48, you get the 18-inch square of the panel, and then you get 1/2 metre of the background fabric to go with it too. So that's all the panels of the animals. Now, we have got some instructions as well for you, brand new today. So if you're a dog lover, we're talking about walking dogs, and you often take your dog out, Barbara, who is with us, you're going to meet in just a moment, has designed this really cute doggy waist bag holder. Now this is just one that we've printed, the instructions here we've just printed off. Yours will look, we've got an image here, yeah, yours will look like that. We just printed ours off the printer this morning, so you can see exactly what they look like. But this is for the dog waist bag holder. So it's got a little, you put a little toggle clasp on it, swivel clasp, and then you can attach it to your coat zip, or you could attach it to your, put it in your pocket, or attach it to the lead. And then it just fits inside one of those little rolls of poo bags. Anyway, instructions are brilliant. £4.99. You've got everything you need to know, exactly how much fabric you need, close-up photographs, all the different elements of how you do it and how it's made, and Barbara's going to show us in a minute as well. But you get all of the instructions with everything you need to make this little bit. So what a lovely thing if you wanted to make somebody just really good for a little stocking present. Once you've got the instructions, obviously, you can make loads of them. Make one for every doggy person you know. Because you know what it's like when you take the dog out and you think, oh, I've forgotten the poo bags. You can have several of these all over the place. One on the lead, one in your pocket, one in your handbag. Really, really useful. So those are the instructions, £4.99. Okay. You will need for this a swivel clip. And we have 2 different sizes. Which size did you use for yours, Barbara? The smaller one. So yeah. The one that Barbara used for hers is the smaller one for the 20mm wide strips. That's that one. That's just so that you can attach, if you want to be able to attach it on things. You don't have to put a clip on it. £1.49 if you want to be able to attach it to something. But if you're getting the instructions, you're buying one of the panels, and Barbara has made this using the Dalmatian panel, the extra fabric that comes with it. Okay. So, good morning, Barbara.
Good morning.
Nice to see you.
Thank you very much.
You've waited very patiently while I've gone through all of these.
My legs ache.
Yeah, we've been waiting there for so long. So, where did you get the idea from doing this then? What was the
I
inspiration?
have dogs, so yeah, and we're always stuffing bags in pockets, and then they go in the washing machine, and then they get stuck everywhere, and it's just a nightmare. So, yeah, just needed something small to hold them in, and I like that sounds like awful. I like the poo bags on a roll.
Yes,
rather than
I do as well.
Just because they're easier, obviously, to take out. So yeah, I just wanted something that was small enough to hold them, but you know, you can hang it, like you say, on your lead or on your coat, or
just so
anywhere.
It's always there.
Yeah, so you've always got them.
Okay. So how do we do it? Where do we start them?
I've got 2 pieces of fabric here, so it's a really good little scrap buster as well. So if you've got some scraps, I'm just going to turn that round. So you just need your lining fabric,
right,
and obviously a bit of fabric. your outer fabric. So the lining fabric, when you cut it, needs to be 4.5 inches by 6 inches. So it's kind of it's about 3.5 inches by the time you finish, but it's just a good size for those bags. You could make it bigger if you wanted to, and have wipes.
But it does fit those.
Yeah, but it fits perfectly. So so we just need. Sorry. I forget this thing's got a cutter on the back. Let's use a small one today. Okay, so I'm just going to cut this so it's 4.5 by 6. There we go. And then your outer fabric needs to be 4.5 by 5. So I'm just going to do a little bit of fussy cutting. So I've got some little doggy in the middle. So I'm going to cut this one. Don't want to cut him in half. Let's do it there.
So you have to. So it's quite a good idea to work out what to put them in the centre of it. If you've got the panel and you want the dogs to be positioned in the right place, then cut them out so they're in the centre of it. But obviously, once you've got the instructions, you can use all sorts of fabrics to make these. Make them for everyone you know. You've never got never got too many of them. I've always got poo bags stuffed in my pocket. Nothing worse than getting somewhere and realising you haven't got one with you.
We've got a lady that lives near us that when she's picked it up, she puts it in her pocket.
The poo?
Yeah, in a bag, obviously. Because it keeps her hands warm when she's walking.
No way.
Honestly, it was disgusting.
That is disgusting.
Can't believe you do that.
Oh, that's awful. Did she actually own up to that?
We see her doing it on a regular basis. She picks it up and then puts them in her pocket.
What if it got a hole in it? Oh,
you'd have to wash your coat, wouldn't you?
I can't believe that.
Yeah.
It keeps her hands warm.
Keeps her hands warm.
What a horrible thought.
Okay, so I just thought I'd share that with you.
Yeah, that's lovely. Anyone else with
on
any
a Monday morning
dog poo stories, please do message.
Oh dear. Okay, so I've cut the 2 pieces, and the reason that you do that is because when you stitch them together, you're going to have an edge either side of there, and then when you fold it, just gives a nicer fit. So you can make quite a few of these.
I'd tell you what, these would be good for, like, if you were doing things for school fetes or little craft sales.
Yeah.
And wanted to make a few. Oh, my straps are all falling down.
Okay, so I've just
slightly undressed.
Pinned this side here, so I'm just going to do a 1/4 inch seam down there. Just seal it on the end. Oh, I've done it again. My machine cuts everything. And
I know, it is difficult, isn't it? Because my machine always finishes with the foot up. And I forget sometimes when I'm using another machine that doesn't happen, and I just pull it out. And
Okay, so then we just turn it round and join up the other sides. So we kind of make a bit of a
right,
D
so you
shape.
think it doesn't fit?
Yeah.
But it's supposed to not. I made this pudding for Sunday lunch yesterday, and it was one of those, where you make like a sponge and then you pour loads of liquid on top of it.
Oh, yummy! Yeah.
And it was really nice. It was figgy. It was figs. Oh, it's just beautiful. But in instructions it said, your pudding will now look really messy and horrible.
Oh, nice.
Well, I'm really glad actually, because it did, because I made all this sort of spongy mixture and then you pour like hot milk and water over it, so it just looked like this big, it looked really horrible. So I was quite glad they said that, but because it then obviously all the sauce goes down to the bottom, doesn't it, underneath the sponge. But it was just quite nice, that it's quite funny when they say that this is supposed to happen. It just, it was the way that it was worded. Your pudding will now look really messy. It worked out well though. It was all like figs.
I love
Figs,
I
all
do
sort of
love figs.
chopped up, like in the food processor, in this sponge. And then underneath it, when it was cooked, it was all this like thick caramel sauce.
Ooh.
Can highly recommend that.
I made a bread and butter pudding yesterday.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, but I always use a fruit loaf because I can't be bothered to mix the raisins and things. So I buy a fruit loaf and then put the fruit loaf in. And it's small enough to go in the tin.
I've never thought of that. Do you need to buy several?
No, just one.
Because they're not very big fruit loaves, are they?
No, but they're, if you've got, because there's only 4 of us, so I've just got a small,
very nice.
nice little tin. And then I buy custard and mix like vanilla essence
Lovely.
into.
Oh, I know.
Really
This
nice.
one is nice when it's getting a bit colder. I was very glad of my fig and caramel pudding, even though it looked really messy. But it did taste all right.
Okay, so I've turned that round so that it's out, and then I'm just going to press that so we've got that nice
Okay,
seam.
that's really clever because that looks like you've bound the edges, but without binding the edges. Like that.
I like to do things quick as well. So we'll just give that a little press.
But that's what it's good about having the instructions like this, because then it's all explained. You've spent all the time working it all out.
Yeah.
Because that does look like it's bound. Nice.
Okay.
There's a little dog on.
Right, the next thing we need to do, I'll just pop that there, is we need a little 2-inch by 2-inch square, because this is going to make the little tab.
Oh, of course, yes.
For the...
To hang the loop thing on.
Yeah.
The swivel clip.
So I'll just trim that down. I do like these mats with the lines in.
Yes, I think people often think that you don't use the lines on the mats, you just use the ones on the rulers. But if you match it all up, then you can
It works really
use the lines on the mats and the rulers.
Okay, so with this one, to make the little tab, we're going to just fold it in half. So watch your fingers on this because it gets a little bit fiddly. Okay, and then open it out, and we're just going to tuck the raw edges, the salvage edges, into the middle.
Oh, like making a bias binding thing.
And then just give it a little iron so it all stays where it is. And then fold it in half again.
Lovely.
And then we're just going to put 2 little stitches down each line, down each side,
Okay,
just
so
to,
just sew it down
keep
either
it all
side.
together. Oh. And the same again. I'm using totally the wrong scissors for that. Never mind. Okay. So that's going to be our tiny little tab.
Okay.
Okay. So I just want to fold this in half so that we get a centre point, or you can finger press it there. And then take your, actually I've got it in my back pocket.
Your swivel clip.
Yep, my little swivel
Out your
clip.
back pocket.
So we're going to just put that tab through, fold it in half, and where I've made the little mark in the centre, I'm going to pin that in place. She says. Actually, let's use a quilting clip. I think they're behind the... There we are.
They're hiding behind the quilt. Have we got any of the kits left, Hannah? No.
Oh, fab.
Okay. I was just thinking that beautiful quilt's hanging behind Barbara. I think we had 2 left, didn't we?
And then I'm just going to quickly tack it. Just stitch it in place.
You've got applique scissors. I think they've all, well, they move around. I think they might all be in the drawer, but they're normally there. I used some applique scissors the other day for exactly the same thing, for cutting threads on the machine, because I couldn't be bothered to get up and find some. And they were the only things that I could reach and find.
You know, I'm so glad I'm not the only one that uses
I can't be bothered to that. I obviously moved them all around the room, and that was the only ones I could find.
I swear I've got someone, there's a ghost in my workshop because they get, everything moves, and I don't, it's only me that's in there.
Yeah, no.
But when I go to pick something, I'm sure it was there, and then I'll find it somewhere else in the room.
Maybe you have. The sewing ghost of the sewing room.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll move that out of the way. So what I want to do now, you could, if you had a, you could overlock the edges to stop the fraying.
Right, okay.
Or if you've got on your foot, you can zigzag just on the edges just to.
Right, if you want the
place.
clips, just a minute, Hannah's just found them, but she's found them at a special price.
Oh.
So we're not meant to do them, it's just that Hannah's found them. So we've got the fabric clips that Barbara's just using. We've got a pack of 50. How much? For a special price of $4.99. No way. That is amazing. $4.99 for... I don't think they're most of it. That must have been like a special early bird or birthday.
I'm on air. Can you put some in my basket, please?
Yeah, they're supposed to be $9.99 for 50. Wow. So that isn't a special. Buy them before anyone finds out. They're not supposed to be plain. So just could you please buy them before anyone finds out, and then they won't know. $4.99. That's half price for a pack of 50. Fantastic things, but save some for Barbara. That's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay, so I've put that part on, the tab on.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to fold 1/2 over so that it matches the edge of that tab, and then bring the other half over just so that it overlaps slightly. Okay.
Yeah.
And
so you just make sure that's in the centre.
So just make sure it's in the centre, and each edge is touching the side of the tab, so that gives that nice little overlap. And then we'll just pin that in place. Hold that there.
With your special fabric clips.
With my special.
$4.99
for $4.99. That's brilliant.
I know I've never got enough of them. I've sort of quite often buy new ones because it's really good to have a big stack of them.
It is.
And also, if we can sell them, then Hannah won't get in trouble for playing them. Yeah, this is what they look like in this pot. Oh no, those are the big. I've got the big ones here. I think Barbara's got the little ones. I've got the big ones.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, that's what you'll get like that, but you'll get 50 of them. I know, that's amazing though, isn't it? Really good, because sometimes you need loads of them. If you're doing something like binding the edge of something, you need quite a lot. If you're doing a bag with foam interfacing or whatever, so a pack of 50.
I think they're brilliant. I've kind of been introduced to them. I'd never used to use them, and now I can't live without them. I
started using them when I was using things like PU where you couldn't pin it, and now I use them for loads of things.
So I've just pinned the two sides of there. Okay, and now I'm just going to stitch down each side.
Right.
All right.
Okay.
Just be careful when you're doing this side where the tab is that you don't catch the metal ring on your
yes.
And again, you can overlock the edges as well, or zigzag the edges on there. Just use my applique scissors.
Oh, Sue says, hi ladies, I have those hanging clips, going to thread them on ribbon to hang Christmas cards
Oh,
up.
that's a good idea.
What a brilliant idea, pack of 50. Yeah.
I don't get that many Christmas cards. I'm not that popular.
But they'd be brilliant for that, bit of ribbon.
Yeah.
There are less, when everyone's checked out, thank you everyone, before Hannah gets in trouble. There are only 20 of them left. If 20 of you could possibly buy the rest of them, so we get rid of, but actually, because they're all different colours as well, they'd look lovely for hanging your Christmas cards up with. They won't know, Hannah, they won't know if we get rid of them, we'll just sell them. Then they'll go, what happened to all those clips? Who sold them? Yeah.
You'll have to stop the live shows.
I know, they're supposed to be $9.99.
Take everything off air.
Yeah, I know, we'll be that's amazing that they're half price, isn't it? Oh well, special deal.
Okay, now I've stitched those two sides. I'm just going to box the edges. So all I've done is push out.
Oh, okay, so that gives you your 3D.
That just gives you the little 3D
Right.
part. So I've just pushed that corner out. I'm going to turn that seam to the right, and then I'm going to stitch just a tiny little stitch across here. Okay.
So that just gives it a bit of
gives it that little
dimension.
It does.
This is an incredibly posh poo bag holder, you know. It's got bound edges, boxed corners. This isn't just any poo bag holder.
This is a
Barbara's
special
poo
one.
bag holder.
Yep.
Message from Penny. I've got lots of linen offcut pieces. This will be great to use them up. I'll have a couple of craft fairs. Thank you, Penny. Oh, thanks for that message.
brilliant.
It's really lovely, Penny. As I said right at the very beginning, please message us in either with your questions or things, the ideas you've got or suggestions. Because once you've got the instructions, obviously, you can make loads of these. And brilliant for craft fairs. You sell loads. And it's a great way, because you don't need a lot of fabric. It's a great way of using up all your oddments. Bits and pieces, and because you need, like, you know, you've got the pretty, you have a pretty one, you can have ones with dogs on, just floral ones.
You could have ones that match the dog.
Indeed. You could embroider them with the dog's name
You
before
could,
you make them,
good.
if you really wanted to, you know, personalise things. But, you know, remember with these instructions, Barbara, this has taken a lot of time to work it out, where you've got all the measurements, so she's worked out a really quick way. So for $4.99, that's fantastic price. I mean, half of the instructions, remember, yours will be a proper printed version. We just haven't got them up from the warehouse yet. That's what yours will look like. We've just got the other version. It's just Monday. What is it that goes on Monday? Nothing happens on Monday, does it? Nothing's happened at the weekend. But you will get a proper version. But the time that's taken to work all of this out, rather than binding it by having the lining and then doing the little corners, you can make hundreds of these. I suppose what you could do as well is production line it, couldn't you?
You could.
So cut all the pieces out, so you could do all the same stage, because you get quicker, don't you?
You do.
Doing each stage then.
And I say you could, if you wanted to, make them slightly bigger, because, you know, you have, I mean, we have wipes for the dog's paws. So when they come in. So
yes, so you could have a larger one.
You could have a larger one for dog wipes.
You could have one to keep your 50 fabric clips in that you've just bought.
I mean, you don't necessarily have to use them for the dogs. You could
No.
do baby wipes or
tissues.
Tissues.
You could use, so once you've made one, then you've worked out how it works. Then you can change the measurements yourself.
Yeah. So now I've boxed the corners. All I'm going to do
so cute.
is just
hand
turn it.
sanitizer.
Yeah.
All sorts of things.
So I've boxed those corners out, look. Can you see?
Oh, that's really
Yeah.
sweet. Actually be quite good for your headphones, you know, the ones that are on the wire,
Oh,
if you haven't
yeah,
got the
that's a
wireless
good idea.
ones.
And that.
Oh, those clips are sold out, thank you very much. Hannah might have got into a lot of trouble, right? Don't mention it. Don't mention it, and they won't know. What will happen in a few weeks' time, somebody will look on the system, go, where did they go? We were going to put those on a special show.
For $19.99.
For $19.99, and then they'll find out Hannah sold them. So thank you very much for saving her. We don't know what happened to them. No idea. But well done for everyone who got them, because that is an absolute bargain. $4.99.
There we go. So that is our little tiny...
Beautiful. I love that, because it does look really posh with its bound edge, but it's just making something where it looks slightly wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
You think, oh, that didn't fit.
I mean, you could line it. You could put like...
No, I think that's lovely. And all there's pictures, loads of pictures as well in the instructions. So $4.99 for the instructions to make this. And as I say, make one, see how it all works. And then if you want to make a bigger one for like wipes or tissues or whatever you want to do, then you've got a bigger one. But, you know, for craft fairs and stuff, make loads of them. Right, let's just go through the bundles one more time, because now you've got to choose which animal you're going to have. So, sheepdog bundle. Right, so there's the sheepdog, the right size up, with the beautiful bow tie on. So 18-inch square, that's cut size. So obviously when you make something with it, it'll be a bit smaller with your seam allowance, but that's an 18-inch square. That would look beautiful quilted. But it's not just that for £8.48, oh no. It's also half a metre of, oh actually I was going to measure that, because I want to know the width of that fabric, because these things are very important. Well, it's the sort of thing I want to know anyway. If I want to know, I'm sure everybody else does. 140 centimetres wide. That's not to the edge, that's to your selvage. 140 centimetres of workable using space is the fabric that goes with it, with the miniature sheepdogs. Then we have the Dalmatian, which was the one that Barbara was just using for a little bag, a posh bag. We've got half a metre of the Dalmatian in the bow tie. Look at him. It's like he's just jumped in a puddle. With his glass gone, wasn't he? Didn't even see it.
Do you think it's a puppy? It looks like
it's definitely a puppy, isn't it? Yeah. His ears, look. I think as they get bigger, I think dogs almost grown with fully grown ears. And then they sort of grow into them, don't they? When we first had our spaniel puppy, she had massive ears. Oh. And they haven't got shorter, but her head's got bigger. Oh. So I think they do. And then you get half a metre of the matching fabric with the small print. £8.48. Absolute bargain. This should be called the bargain show. Bargain instructions, bargain panels. And Hannah's discovery. Have you got any more bargains you can find on the system, Hannah? What else can we give away? We'll save another one. French Bulldog. That one's just jumped in the Mediterranean Sea with, or maybe Caribbean, because it's got green, lovely deep green colour.
He looks very intellectual, doesn't he?
Yes, that's the very clever French Bulldog. He does look actually very intellectual. Does he look? He's got massive ears as well. And then you get half a metre of the matching small print fabric to use for backs or linings or fronts or whatever you want to do with it. £8.48. I think that's an amazing price. I love that. Right, so Barbara, what could we do with our panels?
So I've chosen your favourite, the duck.
Oh, love the duck.
It's nice, isn't it?
I know. That's the duck. £8.48. And in that bundle you get the duck, which Barbara's cut out there, and you get half a metre of the matching fabric with it too.
So what I thought I'd do with this one today, because a lot of people have asked, and we keep mentioning padding, padding him out. So I thought I'd show you how to do that.
Okay.
So what you do is I've cut 2 pieces of scrap fabric, and I'm going to stitch it to the back of, you could use muslin, I mean this is cotton, but just
a piece of
just a piece
fabric.
And just make sure that it fits.
So this is just an idea. So don't get instructions for this. You just got to concentrate.
So you just make sure that it fits over the duck.
Right.
And
with
then
a bit of allowance.
With a bit of allowance.
Okay.
So I'm going to turn it over. And you can kind of see it through.
So just choose a fabric that you can't see through from the other side, depending on what you're doing.
So I'm just going to lay that on there, put that over his head. And then just pin it around the edges. Just don't pin it where you're going to be stitching.
Okay.
Because when we turn this over, you're not going to see it, so it just needs to be
just to hold it in place.
Just to hold it in place. You could use tape if
so
you
I
wanted.
guess it's got to be it's got to be bigger than the area you're going to do.
Yeah, I'd say a good inch, possibly around the outsides. I always want to sing when I say that. Round the outside, round the outside.
What was it, James? What were you singing earlier? Where was it? Round the outside.
Who sings that?
I don't know. Who's Eminem?
Oh, yeah.
Well, a little bit of sing-song. I was singing Adele this morning. Have you heard her new single?
Yeah,
oh, it's brilliant.
It's lovely, but they're
I'm
playing it so many times.
I sang it twice. I got them to play it and then it played it again.
Oh.
Loved it. Everyone is loving the duck.
Okay.
Because you've got to love a duck, haven't you?
You've got to love a duck.
Got to love a duck.
My friend James, not real ones, he collects all the, the ones with all the different figures. Have you seen those? They wear hats, the rubber ducks.
Yes.
He collects those.
Oh, I love them.
So
you get loads of them, can't you?
Yeah, we were in Bath. We went for a day out in Bath.
Did you? I live in Bath.
Oh, do you? I love Bath.
Where did you go?
We went to... where did we go? Oh, we went to watch the George Michael tribute band at the Comedia Club, and then we just had a day out. And we went to Sally Lunn's and had a bit of lunch and just
nice.
It was really. Oh, I love
proper
Bath.
tourist day.
Yeah, it's only 20 minutes from where I live, so it's not
I know.
too.
Whenever I drive into, I think, I'm so lucky to live. It's so nice. It was very dark when I left it this morning.
It was dark.
dark.
Should have come together. Okay, so you can see where the pins are actually.
Yeah,
so I've just gone round.
It's bigger than.
Yeah,
right.
it's just bigger. So what I'm going to do is stitch around his body.
Okay.
Okay, and then that will create a pocket at the back.
Right.
So I'll do this a little bit here, so I'm a bit conscious of the time, so... And he's a little bit, because he's got feathers, it's not so easy. You could...
yeah, I guess it's just sort of roughly
go around him. Yeah.
So this is your sort of trapunto or stuffed quilting. It's a way of... it's a more raised form of quilting. So if you just put wadding and sewed through, you would quilt it. But this is a more raised effect.
I found a book actually in the green room about trapunto, so I was reading all about it.
Now, I love traditional trapunto where you use the trapunto wool, but this is a really good effect for adding a bit of 3D, even to a small area.
It's actually going through the machine quite well. I'm just going through the lifting the foot up as I go so it doesn't ruin his tail feathers. Oh. So what happened to your ducks?
Oh, well, I had them when I was a lot young. Well, I think when I was a teenager, we had them from a day old, these two ducks. Mine was called Daffy and my sisters were called Jemima. And they were boy and girl, funnily enough. And they lived in the little house in the garden. And they had ducklings. Well, Jemima used to sit on the duck eggs, but then when Aylesbury ducks aren't very good at being mothers. She'd sit them, really good sitter, but once they were born, she'd chuck them out, and I don't think any of them ever survived. We used to sort of rescue them and put them under a hot lamp. And they had a big tin bath they'd swim in. And eventually, they both got eaten by a fox.
Oh, no.
It's a very sad end. Very sad end. But they were lovely because we had them from a day old, so they followed us everywhere. But if you had no shoes on, so in the summer if you went outside, they'd bite your toes with your beak. But they would, as soon as you walked outside, they would, because they thought we were their mum, they'd run towards you, their wings flapping. But they were like Jemima Puddle Duck, that sort of thing. I loved them. You could pick them up. If you pick them up and cuddle them, they put their head on your shoulder. Oh,
we had chickens when we were younger. My mum gave them to us at Easter, and she kept them in the airing cupboard and got them out, and they were in a little tiny box, and there's 5 of us. I've got 4 brothers, and we all had one each, and they were the same. Used to follow you everywhere.
Because if you have them from we had them as just day old chicks, and they lived under a lamp for a while. Oh, they were so lovely. I can't believe they got eaten in the end. I would have been absolutely devastated. They were quite messy though. And sometimes they would get out, and then people would phone us, because at the end of our road it would often flood. In the days before flood defences, when it was that, and people would phone us up and say, your ducks are swimming in the road again. You'd have to go down and get them.
Bless. Okay, so I've just stitched around using my applique scissors, and if I turn that round, you'll see I have a little duck on the
other side.
On the other side. Right, so what we do now is, where we've created that pocket, we're just going to cut through the fabric.
But only through the front.
But only through that bit. So we'll just do a little, doesn't have to be too big. So I would say that's like 2 inches, I would say. And then I've got some stuffing here.
So just normal toy stuffing.
Normal toy
not
stuffing,
wadding, then, just toy stuffing.
And you don't need too much. And you just fill it. If you've got like a pokey tool or
wooden spoon, skewer, no, probably not pair of scissors because you might break them. A pokey tool. So how much stuffing would you put in there then?
I've got
like
a good handful.
Yeah. So not too much.
Not too much, no.
Okay.
Not too much. And then just sort of level it out once you've got it inside the... I feel like I'm actually stuffing it as well.
Well, I guess it depends how raised you want it to be, doesn't it?
So I've got a little bit in there. And then obviously you do his head, so you just cut another little bit there and puff his head out. So once you've got it stuffed, then you just do a little tack stitch over the top of that to keep the stuffing in, because you're not going to see that part. And then you'd have
that's fab,
kind of just brought it out. And then what you could do is just follow some of the lines in and just put
because
some
it's
stitching.
more 3D.
It is.
And also the good thing is you haven't got any stuffing in the background. So when you quilt, although you get bits standing out, you've still got the bit behind, but you've only got the body. So if you sewed through that, it'd be amazing.
It just give you that
very
lovely
clever. So you just need a bit of stuffing and a bit of fabric.
Yeah.
Like that.
So I think that's a nice way of just...
So you can have that idea for free.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. Thank you so much, Barbara.
Okay,
that was
you're very welcome.
I love that. So we will see you back in an hour.
You will, yeah.
An hour for Christmas.
Yes.
An hour for Christmas.
I like
so I'm just going to quickly go back through the panels. So we've got the hedgehog. Extremely popular hedgehog. Barbara's made a beautiful cushion from the hedgehog. Can we show that? Have we got a picture? There it is, look. Barbara made a bolster cushion. So there's so many things you can make from these, and that was made from the panel. Just a cylinder cushion. Beautiful, isn't it? So the 18-inch panel, and then you get 1/2 metre of the matching miniature hedgehog fabric to go with it. £8.48. You can make 3 cushions, bolster cushion, all sorts of things. Bag. Don't forget, these would look nice in a bit of trapunto as well, because you could sew all the way around there, but then after you'd stuffed it, sew down there to sort of separate the hedgehogs. be lovely. Then we have the fawn. The fawn was also brand new today, like the duck. There's the fawn. Look at that little face. That's so lovely, isn't it? Nice. Bring that woodland feel into your living room with the fawn, the hedgehog and the mallard duck. And again, you get, so £8.48, but it's not just the 18-inch panel. You also get the ½ metre of the matching fabric with the fawn facing in different directions. And finally, the duck that the new duck, extremely popular. The one that Barbara was just showing us how to do trapunto with. Loving that. If you do it, please send us a photo. I'd love to see what yours look like. And I guess once you put the cushion inside, it'll really push it up as well. Yeah. What a lovely idea. And really now, when you look at it, you can really see these are the lines that you could then sew round to add the detail to. You could put a bit of embroidery on it first as well. I often think things like this would look lovely. Even if it was free motion embroidery, you could stitch over all the green lines first. That would look really lovely. So you get the panel, 18 inches, and then you get ½ metre of the matching mini duck fabric to go with it. 140 centimetres wide, 80% cotton, 20% polyester, but it's a much heavier weight than your normal quilting fabric. It's more like bag fabric, like a canvas. Not super stiff, but much heavier than that. So good for curtain making. Not if you've only got ½ metre, but it's that sort of weight fabric. Right, we are about to go to break and put all this away. And next it is Bird of the Month, number 10. Welcome to October's Bird. Loads of you checking out already on that. If you click on sewstreet.com, go on to watch live if you want to get ahead. That's what I'm going to be showing you how to make. It's the Goldfinch, and I'm going to show you how to make the storage basket. I will see you back here in just a couple of minutes' time.
If you're a Sewing Street or Yarn Lane customer, no matter how many times you check out in one day, you will only pay one postage and packaging. So don't wait to add the item you want to your basket and check out. You will only pay one P&P even if you check out multiple times in one day.
Are you a fan of Sewing Street and Yarn Lane? Why not join our growing Facebook fans pages? Just search Sewing Street Fans and Yarn Lane TV Fans on Facebook and click Join Group. It's that simple. Never miss out on the latest news and updates from our presenters and guest designers, special offers and plenty of chat with your fellow fans. Share photos of your makes, ask for advice, interact with your favourite guests and presenters and be a part of the ever-growing sewing and yarn community. See you there!
Hi, I'm Debbie Harris and I'm so excited to be one of the new guest designers here on Sewing Street. I live and work in Melton Mowbray in Leicestershire, where I run my own knitting and sewing business called Mabel and Deb. I specialise in sewing and knitting and crocheting, and I've been doing all of those three things from being a little girl when my mum taught me all things knitting, crochet and sewing. Started off just crocheting little chain stitches and granny squares, and then actually patchwork sewing little hexagons, and they're still my favourite shape to sew now. I used to be a school teacher. For over 20 years I was teaching in classrooms and just had the knitting and the crochet and sewing as a background hobby, but now I get to do this as my job, and I'm absolutely passionate about it and really want to share all that passion and excitement with you guys. A tip that I think is worth sharing with you is always use quality materials. So whether that's your fabrics or your threads or wool, the difference in the quality of your materials can really make a difference to your finished project. And always use the right tools, so whether it's a rotary cutter or a pair of scissors that are specially made for that job, that too can make all the difference. My claim to fame in 2020 was being one of the winners of the Great British Make Off here on Sewing Street when I did my debut sewing demonstration in November last year. And it was just a wonderful experience, and I'm so excited to be here on my Sewing Street journey with you all. bringing lots of tips, techniques, and looking forward to doing lots of exciting projects with you throughout the year. So lovely to meet you, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Bye.
Sewing Street have our very own app. You can now watch and shop from anywhere. Simply download the app from your app store onto your smartphone or tablet, then log in or create an account, and you're done. You can watch us live from anywhere, browse all our recently played items and pre-orders so you never miss out on any show deals, and message the studio to say hello at any time. And remember, you can check out as many times as you want and only pay 1 P&P all day.
If you're a Sewing Street or Yarn Lane customer, no matter how many times you check out in one day, you will only pay 1 postage and packaging. So don't wait to add the item you want to your basket and check out. You will only pay 1 P&P even if you check out multiple times in one day.
Are you a fan of Sewing Street and Yarn Lane? Why not join our growing Facebook fans pages? Just search Sewing Street Fans and Yarn Lane TV Fans on Facebook and click Join Group. It's that simple. Never miss out on the latest news and updates from our presenters and guest designers, special offers and plenty of chat with your fellow fans. Share photos of your makes, ask for advice, interact with your favourite guests and presenters, and be a part of the ever-growing sewing and yarn community. See you there!
Sewing Street have our very own app. You can now watch and shop from anywhere. Simply download the app from your app store onto your smartphone or tablet, then log in or create an account, and you're done. You can watch us live from anywhere, browse all our recently played items and pre-orders so you never miss out on any show deals, and message the studio to say hello at any time. And remember, you can check out as many times as you want and only pay 1 P&P all day.
If you're a Sewing Street or Yarn Lane customer, no matter how many times you check out in one day, you will only pay 1 postage and packaging. So don't wait to add the item you want to your basket and check out. You will only pay 1 P&P even if you check out multiple times in one day.
And welcome back to Sewing Street, and it is time for October's bird of the month, and this month it is the Goldfinch. There he is, look, I've got him on the front of the storage basket so you can see what he looks like. So that's what the storage basket looks like when it's finished. Using the panel and then some of the strips on it I've used for the pockets. It uses a bit of exterior fabric. I've used some pale denim and then some cotton fabric for lining it. You can use it for storing. I have got about 50 at least, if not 60 fat quarters inside there. There are pockets inside to put your scissors in, tape measures, pockets on the inside, pockets on the outside. You can use it for storing yarn. You could put your crochet hooks and your knitting needles in there. You could put magazines in, newspapers, put it in the kitchen for storing fruit and veg in, all sorts of things, up to you. But the instructions explain how to do that. So we have in the bundle for $18.99 you save £1. You get the instructions, which are here. Do you have the instructions? Bird of the Month, the storage basket, to make it. Now remember these instructions, because all of the Bird of the Month panels are exactly the same size. The birds are all 10.5 inches square. So you can use any of the panels with the instructions. But in this bundle, you get the panel, which has, like, there's the picture at the bottom. You get the square of the Goldfinch, and then you get 5 2.5 by 43 inch fabric strips in this lovely greeny jade colourway, which echoes the colours in the leaves that the Goldfinch is sitting on. So you on the colours of the leaves in here. This is one of the strips is used in the handle. Well, two of the strips are used in the handles. You've got the strips used in the pocket. You can use for all different things, but I've used them for the pockets. Shall I show you? See on the inside? Oh, there we go. You can see the pockets on the inside. I've used the strips for there. So in the bundle, you get the panel that's got the bird and the labels that say Goldfinch and all the strips, and you get the full of instructions of how to make the storage basket. So I've worked it all out, how to do it, so there you've got everything you need. So as well as the bird panel, you will need 1/2 metre of outer fabric, 40 centimetres of inner fabric, and 1/2 metre for the pocket linings as well. You need wadding to put inside the bag, and you can also use, that's optional, a heavyweight interfacing. So depending on how structured you want it to be, I've used just wadding in this between them, but you could, depending on the fabric, maybe because I've used a denim so I didn't need to put the interfacing, but if you wanted to make it more structured, you can also use an interfacing on the outside on the inside there. So it depends how structured you want to make it. So that's what you need for that. All the instructions, everything you need to know is in here. I've got photos of all the steps, of all the difficult bits, or the bits that maybe not easy to understand. There's a picture of the finished thing, and more really sort of close-up photos to make it easier for you to do. So in that bundle, you save £1, you get the panel, and you get the full instructions for making the storage basket. And the way I've written it is so that you can then use them again for other things. So if you've bought this once and then you think, well, I'd like to use it for another bird, or I'd like to make a storage basket and I've got a nice square fabric or a tea towel with something lovely on it, you could use it for that, because all the measurements are in here. Now, if you want to just buy the Goldfinch panel, if you're collecting them ready for the full quilt that we're going to show you at the end, we forgot to hang the quilt up. We'll do it in a minute. We'll do it in a minute. I said right at the beginning, we mustn't forget to hang the quilt up and swap it. But there is the panel. So £9.99. On the panel, you will get the Goldfinch, 10.5 inches square, and you will get the 5 complementary coordinating fabric strips that go from light to dark, that echo the colours of, well, I guess they must be fur because they're pine cones that the Goldfinch is sitting on. That is the panel, £9.99. So if you are collecting that because you want to make the quilt, or if you want to make something else with it, or you're making all the cushions, whatever, that is the panel on its own. Now, we have also got all the other panels and all the other instructions as well. So if you click on sewingstreet.com and you click on Watch Live, then when you scroll down from there, all of the other panels are, let me just move all my tins away, are on there. I have got them all here. So there's the website. So if you want to click down, then click on Today's Show Deals. All the panels are on there. If you have missed any, if you want to buy any of the others, you think, oh, that's a really lovely idea, there they all are, one per month. They've got all the months listed on them, so you can see. Now, we did have extra ones because there were a couple of months where we wanted to give you an option. So we've now got, well, this must be the 12th panel because we're on the 10th month, and then we had 2 extra panels as well. We've also got all of the instructions. So every month, I did a set of instructions for each of the birds, but any of the birds will make any of the panels. Now, if you only want to buy the instructions, if you're thinking, I'd really like to make a storage basket, but I've got a different bird, or I'd like to make the storage basket for something else, £9.99, and you can have the instructions on their own. So you've got 3 choices. You have the panel on its own, the instructions on their own, or the panel and the instructions together. And if you buy them 2 together, then you will save £1. Okay. We've also got all of the instructions, every single one of them here. It's like a whole collection now. I have a special binder for them. So if you want to buy any of those, remember, so say you've bought the Goldfinch today, but you think, actually, I'd really like to make a peg bag. Then you could buy the peg bag instructions, but you could have a Goldfinch on the inside. Because luckily, the panels are all the same size. It's quite handy, really. So it means that they will all fit together. So we've got the peg bag. There's the market. Oh, hang on, we're on the overhead now. We've got the market tote. But again, if you have a look on the website, all of the different ones are there. We've got the book cover. That's the one I did last month with the gold crest. There's the patchwork star cushion. I know loads of you have made this one. Some of you seem to have made one of every bird. You have loads of cushions. There's the cosmetic bag. That's the one I made that had the bullfinch on it. But again, any of the birds will fit onto any of the instructions. All the instructions are full colour. Some of them, like the peg bag, have templates as well, if you need the templates. But they all have everything that you need to know in there. Like the cosmetic bag has a template for it. The messenger bag, that was the one I did back in February with the pigeon. There's the gardening set. This one has instructions for the garden kneeler as well as the apron as well. Everything you need to know. So you get 2 sets in this one. Only because I couldn't decide whether I wanted to make a garden kneeler or an apron, so I did both. The Dresden plate cushion. And the lunch bag, that was done in July, I think. So everything you need to know. So you just need to choose. Now, if you have missed any of them, or if you've never seen Bird of the Month, the way it works is that we have a new bird every single month with the strips as well. So let me show you. I'll show you June, because this is the one I'm going to be demonstrating with. So let me show you what June looks like so that you can see. So this is what June looks like. So on the panels, you get the printed bird, which is 10.5 inches square. This is a starling. And you get labels for the birds. Then you get 5 strips of fabric. They're all 2.5 inches wide, but they're actually 43 inches long, so almost the same length as your quilted weight fabric. And the strips that on every panel are in colours and prints that coordinate with the bird itself. So a lot of the instructions, I have used these strips for other things, but you can use them, you know, as you want. You can just have the birds. So some of you I know are collecting the panels. They're going to make them into the full quilt, which I'll show you in a minute. Some of you use them because I've tried to use as much as them in the instructions as well. So when we get to the very end, which is going to be in December, I'm going to show you how to make the quilt, because we'll be selling a panel that has, I'm going to take the bag and just move over a minute, 1 minute. We'll be selling in December, I've moved over now, the full quilt. Oh no, that's the storage bag. We'll be selling a panel of the full quilt so that you can sew them all together with all these panels as well. But I'm also, that's the simple, yeah, turn around, there we go, that's better. So in December, just to work in case you want to collect all of them, I'm designing another quilt at the moment that's slightly more complicated, that's more ornate. So to give you a choice of the simpler quilt or the more complicated quilt. I haven't finished it yet. When I have, I'll let you know a bit more about it. So we started in January with the wren, February had the messenger pigeon, and then we also had an owl as a choice. March had the bullfinch, April had the blue tit, May was the great tit, June was the starling, July was the magpie, but we also had the long-tailed tit for people who didn't like the magpie. August was the jay, September was the gold crest, and October is the goldfinch. There we go. So we've only got 2 left to go. But today it's all about the goldfinch. So look, all of those instructions that I showed you earlier and all the panels, they are all behind me now. There they all are. So we've got 2 peg bags. So you can put any bird in. This one I made with the blue tit, that one I made with the bullfinch. There's the book cover, the cosmetic bag, the Dresden plate. This set, every month this set gets bigger and bigger and bigger. I've got the wren cushion, the blue tit Dresden plate cushion. We've got, there's the owl. The owl. Let's take him down. That was the barn owl. He's not on the quilt because he was, if some people have collected them all, if you get all 14, if you get the extra 2, then you'll have the owl and the long-tailed tit as well. There is, on the graphics at the moment, the barn owl panel on its own. So again, you get the 10.5 by 10.5 inch bird, and then you get the complementary strips. And you can see on here, on the bag, I used the strips to make the back of the bag and the sides and the handle, so that you don't have to, you only need to have a little bit of your own, of the lining fabric, but I used as much as I could of the panel itself, because it's quite nice to have that, and then it's got the name on it as well. There's the messenger bag. How did you get that attached? I don't know, like that, that's better. We did it in a pigeon as well. So there's all of it. Oh, and then we've got the garden kneeler here. That was the magpie. There we go. And then the lunch bag, which was in the J. The J was August, I think. So that's the lunch bag instructions. So if you want to make the lunch bag, again, you can make them with any of the birds. J was August, it was. I love the J because I like the duck egg colour background, and it's really lovely shades of sort of taupe and the real pinky colours of a J. That's lovely. And you don't have to put the label on all of them. There's so much choice, so much choice. And then the garden set, remember I said there was, gosh, that's nicely propped up. It's probably going to fall over. There's an apron that goes with that as well. Is it going to stay? And that is the magpie if you want. But again, you can use any of the birds. That was the magpie in July. I love that one because I like the background on that one. It's like he's sort of in the sunset. So there you go, so much choice, all the panels, all the instructions, all the panels. But today I'm going to be talking to you about the storage basket. So I decided I wanted to make quite a square basket with a really deep sides and bottom edge. I've put a pocket on the back of it. There we go. And inside there are pockets as well. And if you look, you can sew dividing lines in them if you want to put other things in, like scissors. Really good thing to keep. If you're a knitter, if you're a yarn laner, really good to put your yarn in and all your needles for sitting on the floor. You can use it for all sort of, you could use it for toys because it is so deep. There's a lot there. Actually, let me just get, I'm just going to get the instructions. No, I've got the other instructions down here, which I printed out. So what you need to do is everything you need. Let me put the storage basket out of the way. Everything that you need to know is in the instructions. So I'm not going to go through any of the measurements or anything because it's all in there. It tells you what you need. Remember, you are going to need 1/2 metre of fabric for the outside and 1/2 metre for the lining, and then you need just a little bit extra for the pocket linings, but all of that information is. So to start off with, cut everything out, which I've done in advance to save a little bit of time. Then the first thing you need to do is make the pockets. Now there are pockets on the outside and pockets on the inside. They're all made in the same way. To save a bit of time, so with this bag I've used the darker denim. For the other bag that I just showed you, we've got the lighter denim, which we do have. I'll show you that in a minute. Oh, that's the light denim. So that's £5.99 for 1/2 metre. That's how much you will need. And that's the denim that I used in this storage bag, is that lighter denim. So you make a pocket and then you sew it on, oh, maybe the right way up, to the outside. So, and I've lined this, if you can see. I've lined that with part of the panel. So, and you sew it on. Explains exactly how to do it. It's very important to follow the measurements because the positioning of the pocket from the top of the bag is important, because the way that the bag works is the base is part of the outer. It's not a separate piece. So it's quite important that you sew it in the right place. Then you do the same with the lining pieces to sew the lining on. Now, in order to make these bottom, you've got to cut corners out of here. Got to cut corners, but not literally cut corners. So we need to cut the corners out of the bottom pieces because it's easier. I could have designed it so that you had sides and fronts and stuff, but the way it works, you have just two pieces that make the outer, but you have to cut them out. Now they've got to be out of the bottom, that's important. If you make a mistake, and let me get a ruler, and you cut them out of the top, hang on, oh, there we go, then it won't work. Right, and I need a pen, maybe a red one. Okay, so you can see the top because that's where the top of the pocket is. So I always turn it over. So out the bottom two corners, we need to cut squares. The measurements for that is given in the instructions. So the best way to do, well, the way that I do it, is I draw, let's make sure I've got the right size, it onto the fabric. I'm using a cutting ruler here because it's got the measurements marked on it. 4.5 inch squares. Now normally I expect you're used to doing a box corner, 1, 2, 3, 4.5, which has much smaller squares than this. But because obviously this is quite a cubey storage basket, you need to cut big bottoms. Now some people do it where they cut out one square and use that as a template, but I mean I do it this way just because I find it easier. 4.5. Always double check as well when you do it, because the number of times I've cut them out wrong, I always like measure it again. 1, 2, 3, 4.5. So there we go. Double check that it's at the bottom, not at the top. Carefully cut out the squares. So this is the back of the bag. We haven't made the front yet. There we go. Don't need those. Keep those. You can make something nice with them. So that is the back of the bag finished, the basket finished. So we'll just put that to one side. So what we're going to do now is make the front of the bag. Let me just find my instructions. I have to write myself instructions. I can't remember what to do. I'll put that to one side. So for the front of the bag, you have to cut the bird, trim the bird slightly. I'm using the starling for this one, just so that I could show you can use any of the birds. And I quite like the starling, because I quite like the purple colours. So you need to now create the front. So I've got various pieces. I've got 2 side pieces, like a jigsaw, and I've got a bottom piece that goes underneath. And obviously that bit will fold underneath. This forms the base of the bag. So to start with, you have to trim this, all the measurements are in the instructions, and then you pin this piece. Now, if you decide you want to interface, if you want your bag to be stiffer, don't do that at this stage. Do it once you've formed the whole thing, because otherwise you'll have loads of interfacing in your seams. So if you interfaced this and the other bit, you'll have lots, but you only interface the outer. When you don't have to, but if you want to just put you really do need the wadding to give it some body, but that's put onto the lining. Now I have used, I'm pretty sure, let me just double check, despite the fact I did this yesterday, a 1/2 inch seam allowance. So just remember that when you're doing it. 3/8, 4/8. So just measure that up, right. So just any of the birds will make this. You can just choose. So if you buy the bundle, obviously you've got the panel and the instructions, but you can use any of the birds for this. But the measurements are in the instructions. So if you don't want to use the birds, you just want to make the storage basket, you can do that as well, because it will tell you how big to cut this central panel. Yeah, the graphic that's just coming up. Hang on. So that's that one. I'm going to sew this one to this side. Right. So the graphics that's in at the moment is the panel on its own, which is the Goldfinch, which you can see on the front of my storage basket. There is the panel. Over half of the stock of the panel on its own has already gone, and we had hundreds. It's quite interesting, actually. There's obviously a lot of you who are collecting all of them, but obviously we don't sell the same numbers of each every month. But it's interesting to see. We should find out which has been the most popular bird so far. I don't know. I think it might be the wren. Possibly. A lot of people like the wren. Or maybe the blue tip. It definitely wasn't the pigeon. There were loads of you who didn't like pigeons. So we sew those on. Then, very important at this stage to press your seams open. Now when you press it first, then press it open, because it sets the stitches by pressing it first. To get a really neat finish, press it on the back to press the seam open, then turn it over, make sure that seam is still pressed open and lying flat. Press it from the front as well, because when you press it open from the back, it doesn't always press exactly open. The front will just give it that extra finish. So those 3 presses is what gives you a really crisp look. Now, a lot of people don't like pressing or don't press a lot, but you will get a better finish because that's flatter now. I hadn't distorted the fabric by stitching it, but the needle going through the fabric does distort it a little bit. By giving it that, you won't get the same finish if you just press it open. You need to press it flat first, so press it that side and then that side. And we're not ironing, we're pressing. Ironing is when you're ironing clothes. Pressing is actually holding it onto the fabric. So it actually finishes the seam. So that's the side of the bag. Now we need to give it a little bit of depth for the base. So put the bottom on here. Now, when you're sewing a plain piece of fabric, as in an unseamed piece of fabric, to a seamed piece of fabric, always work from the seamed side, because it's important that these seams stay pressed open, because they'll look neater. Just cut that off. So when you're doing a long piece like this, pin it at one end, and then pin it at the other. If you cut it following the measurements, it will fit. Then take the 2 ends, pull them so that you get to the middle. Make sure the raw edges are matching up, and then pin it in the middle. Then you know it will fit properly, because obviously these have been seamed, which sometimes pulls them in a bit. Just make sure the raw edges are lining up, and then just pop another pin across the seam, and that will hold the seam flat as you're sewing, but also remind you that it needs to stay flat. Because if you, when you sew along here, if you do that, you'll end up with a twisted seam, and that will give you extra bulk on the outside, and it won't lie flat. So that's why you always, if you're sewing a unseamed to a seamed, have the seam on the top. Right, so we're just going to sew that together. Again, using your 1/2 inch seam allowance. I have put in the instructions, there is part of it when you make the handles where you use a different seam allowance, but that's really clear, I've told you that. But when you get to the seam, make sure you hold this seam flat. You can use a pin or your fingers and make sure it stays flat. So it's always worth, because I know when I do them, and particularly, you know, often you sew things where you've got seams on both sides, so you just have to pick it up and have a little look. But you will get a better finish from just slowing down a little bit when you get to that seam. Make sure your raw edges stay even. And just moved. There we go. And then sew to the end. Right. Again, take my iron. Press the seam flat. And then we'll press it open. I love the smell of this denim. When you press it, almost has a slight sort of chlorine smell to it. Really clean. It's almost like, I don't know, bleached or something. It just has a really lovely, clean smell to it. So I'm just pressing these flat. I need some steam in this iron. Some water maybe. And then press it from the other side. Make sure that seam is still laying flat. I know I keep repeating this. Now, if you want to add a bit of decoration, because I've used denim here, a top stitch looks really nice. I haven't done it on mine, but if you want to at this stage, you can add some decoration by top stitching along, you know, the effect that you get in denim. You could even use like a complementary thread, so you could lose like the orange you often have on denim, or, you know, because there's some orange in the feet, or a purple. So if you know, you're happy to, it doesn't need the top stitching, but if you want to add this at that stage, or you could sew around the edge of it, top stitching, particularly on denim, always looks really nice. So that is the front finished. Oh, but we need to cut its corners, which always I think sounds funny. It's like you're cutting corners. So again, we'll have to mark the box corners, make sure they're in the bottom. So pick it up. I'm double check again that you've got it right. 1, 2, 3, 4.5. Now you will notice that this box corner is level with the edge of this seam allowance. That's intentional, because I wanted the bottom of the bird to sit right at the bottom of the bag. 1, 2, 3, 4.5. So there is, it is there for a reason. It is done that like that for a reason. So if you want to do something like this yourself, if you want to work it out, where to put a box corner in something, if you want to have a base that goes underneath, then it needs the top of the box corner will anyway. You just need to sew it at exactly that right place, so it lines up exactly with that. 1, 2, 3, 4.5. I always count before I cut, because I've cut it wrong before. So again, exactly the same with the bag outer back. You just trim along those lines. See that one there. There we go. So that is the outer front made. So you've got the bird in the middle, you've got the sides. I mean, it looks a bit odd, but it will all come together. It will all work, I promise you. Now you have to do the handles. 1, 2. Right. For the linings, I've done these a little bit in advance so we can get ahead a bit. They're made in exactly the same way. So I have got pockets. Now I made these from the strips, but didn't cut them apart. So I cut them so that the strips are still joined together. Then what you can do, when you sew them on, the pocket is lined as well, but when you sew them onto the lining, if you want to create dividing lines, I've just sewed down here. So it depends what you want to put in it. If you wanted to put pens or pencils or small things, you could sew down every line, and then you could have lots of different things. So this is the lining fabric that I'm using for the starling, and this is the amethyst. But for the goldfinch, I used ivory for the lining, and you need 1/2 metre of that for the lining, and you need a little bit extra for the lining of the pockets, but not loads. You just can't get the lining of the bag and the pockets out of 1/2 metre, but you don't need very much. So you can, at this stage, sew down these lines if you want to divide it. So there is one. What you then do, I use a little bit more of an iron, is cut the corners out in the same way as you did the outer. I'm going to just press that because it's been folded up in my bag overnight. I did this yesterday. Just give it a little, I'm pressing on the cut inside. Naughty. Naughty. Wasn't concentrating. Now, this, to get your bag to have a little bit of extra lining, what you do is you cut some wadding, Well, let me show you the other one because I cut that one out wrong. I didn't cut it in half. You cut the wadding 1/2 inch smaller all round. Then that means that when you sew it together, you won't have any wadding in the seam allowance. You place the wadding onto the wrong sides of the fabric. And you cut the corner squares out first. So you cut the corner squares out of the lining. You cut the wadding 1/2 inch smaller and cut the corner squares out. And then it sits with a nice 1/2 inch board around the edge. Now I've used a fusible wadding, so I've just pressed it into place. If you don't have a fusible wadding, that's fine. You can tack it into place. It won't be sewn into the seam. Allowance. It'll be just caught. So you could just hand tack it into place, or if you use a fusible. So with this one, I used a fusible wadding, and yours won't be. Mine is creased because it's been folded up, but it won't be. So if you use a fusible wadding, press it from this side, not from the wadding side. You can have the wadding going in right up to the edges of the seam allowance, but it just removes the bulk a little bit. So the two lining pieces are absolutely identical. And I just did those before because they're done in the same way. You don't have to put the pockets on them. That's up to you. I just thought it'd be quite nice to have pockets because then you can store stuff in them. And it's nice because you have those complementary strips on there. It's nice to use that for the pocket. So what we now need to do is, let me just read them. I don't want to miss anything out. Is do the handles. So before we assemble it. Now I have made the handles in advance because all the handles are, again, you use the strips. You have one strip for the outside of the handle and one for the lining. And I've put wadding in between these. So you place the two handle pieces right sides together with the wadding underneath, sew them down the sides, turn the right sides out and then top stitch them. And then that gives you, I'm just going to press them because they've got a bit. That gives you a nice padded handle, which means, well, it makes it nicer to carry. If you look at the handles that I've got on the bag that I've done, makes them nicer to carry and makes them more sturdy. On my handles, I top stitched down on the edge. On the handles on this bag, I stitched down the centre of them, just because it just gave it a bit more interest. That's entirely up to you. Can you see I top stitch down the centre? That's up to you, but the wadding really helps. So before you do anything else, take the bag, I don't know, let's do the front first, and one of the handles. Now I've got to make sure that I put them in exactly 2 inches. So if we take a tape measure, well, we'll use this because I've got a tape measure, 2 inches either side of the centre. So let's mark the centre of the top with a pin. Okay. It's important to get these in the right place before you go any further. So we need to mark 2 inches either side of this pin. I'm going to use an erasable, heat erasable marker for this, a friction pen, but you can use pins if you want. So just double check. So I've got 2 inches either side. Now choose which side. I'm going to have the flowery one as the right side. So the inner side, put that on the mark and pin it on through the top. Now make sure that that's lying straight. You can see it's lying straight by the distance from there, just because you don't want it to twist at all, and just pin it a little bit of the way down, not too much, but it will just stop it twisting. Then making sure this inner edge stays untwisted, put the inside edge of that one. It looks like it's a bit tight now, but that's because I've pinned it there. So make sure that this line isn't twisted, and then put the inner edge on the other 2 inch mark. Now, something I've forgotten to say is I've allowed for the handle to extend 1/2 inch beyond the edge of here, which I forgot to say at the beginning. When you sew the handles in, you're going to be sewing here. If the top of the handle comes to there, if you have any pull on the handle, well, you will if you put a lot in it, it can easily pull through the fabric. There's not as much strength. But if you have the handle extending 1/2 inch beyond, then it's not going to pull through the fabric. It just gives it extra security. So in the measurements that I've given you, I have allowed for that extra 1/2 inch. So again, pin that down there so it's straight. And then when you come to this one, pin it so you can measure this 1/2 inch above. This gives it extra strength. Because if you have it right on the edge with the weight, it could just pull straight through the fabric. This just gives it a bit more security. And then pop another pin so that that's straight. You can measure this if you like. But otherwise, if you don't do that, when you sew it in, sometimes it will twist a bit. But if you put another pin down here, which you remove later, then that just keeps it nice and straight. Now, take it to the machine and sew it into place, but within the seam allowance. So about 1/4 inch, because the seam allowance, remember, is 1/2 inch. Now this is a tacking stitch, so it's not anything that will be seamed, so you don't have to start finish. It's just to hold the handle in place while you're assembling the bag later. But by sewing it within the seam allowance means you don't have to take it out. It also, again, is another layer of stitching. So this handle will have this tacking stitch. It'll have the seam that holds the whole bag together, and it will have a top stitching. So you've got 3 layers of stitching, which will make it really strong, but without it looking like you've got stitching on top of each other. So I'm not back stitching on that because that's just to hold it in place. So that's on the front of the bag. Now you've got to do exactly the same thing, and I'm going to have to do this, couldn't really do this in advance, on the back of the bag. So again, find the centre mark. Now I'm not going to be able to see this one as well. So I think I will have to put a pin mark on this one, depending on, because of the colour of the fabric, of the denim. I can't see if I put my erasable pen on. 2 inches, always double check. 2 inches, 4 inches. Right, so take the other handle, which is disappeared. Where's the other handle gone? I did have 2 handles. Oh, there he is. I lost my handle. Right. Got my handle. So again, I've used the darker fabric for the outside. So put that right sides down, extend it 1/2 inch beyond the top. If you're doing this really neatly and properly, measure 2 inches, and then you can mark further down with a pin to make sure that this is nice and straight. Just put the time into getting this, because if you have wonky handles and you've sewn them into the seam when you're assembling the bag, it's really annoying. So bend that round. Always just follow that with your finger, and then you know it's straight. Pop another pin in, and then put another one. Make sure the handle's straight, just a little bit down. I mean, it does, because these are quite short handles, because it's not a shoulder bag, it's a storage basket. They look a bit like they're too short because I've got the other pin in, but you don't want them too long. So once we take those other pins out, it'll be fine. So sew across the top of there. Actually, I can just keep sewing now. As long as you stay within the seam allowance, this line of machine stitching won't be seen. Make sure it's straight. And then sew all the way down there. Right. Scissors. Okay, so I'll take the... Right, so that's the handle all done and ready. Right, now what we're going to do, they look like really silly handles, don't they? But they will be right. So we need to take it doesn't matter. Well, let's start with the back outer and one of the linings. Doesn't matter which, because they are identical. And we're going to place them right sides together. Let me just measure on top. So it makes the right sides together, matching the top edges. Leaving the handles. Now I'm going to leave those pins in. because this is a 1/4 of an inch seam allowance, you're going to be sewing with your 1/2 inch across here. If that bends at all, it will twist it out of shape. You will have to adjust them slightly as you go, but I'm going to leave those in. We'll take them out later. So match up, place them right sides together. Quite easy to see because you've got the wadding on there. Now, if you want to stiffen it at all and you wanted to put that heavy weight interfacing on the outside, then you can do that. It says I've told you in the instructions when to do it, but you do it when in the same way as adding the wadding to the lining, you add the interfacing to the outer and you cut it a bit smaller. But all of that is in the information. Again, pin the outsides first and then pull it so that the centres match. If you've got a longer length than this, you can actually mark the centre so you can pin the centre and the outsides. With this is probably enough to be able to do that. And then pin it all the way along. Make sure the raw edges are matching exactly, because you'll get a neater finish and it will match up properly. And then along here. When you pin the handle, make sure it's still lying straight. Because the handles are so short, they're sort of pulled over a bit. So you need to make sure they're still staying nice and straight. Another way you can do it is tack, rather than when I pinned them further down here, you could tack them instead, either by machine or by hand. That holds them in as well. That's just another way. If you find you constantly have your handles twisted, then try that. Lots of little bits of denim squares. Right, now I'm going to sew this together again all the way across the top using that 1/2 inch seam allowance. Got too much stuff in the way. Always remember to reverse stitch at the beginning to make it nice and strong. Now you should, because you've cut this wadding 1/2 inch smaller all round, you should sew just up to the edge of the wadding. But obviously, you know, if it's not exactly, it doesn't really matter because it's not that easy to get it exactly central. You will almost sew up to it, but that's why if you're not using fusible wadding, it's best to tack it into place. But now you can see by cutting it 1/2 inch smaller, you haven't got any wadding in the seam allowances, which means it reduces the bulk. When you get to the handles, just slow down a bit. Your needle will go through them, but you've obviously got quite a lot of layers of fabric there. So if you go too fast, you could break your needle. So if you just slow down a bit, it's fine. Right, so that's one side. Now when you come to this, open it out. We're going to press this seam open. Now be careful because you've got wadding there and you don't really want to touch. It doesn't matter, I mean you can iron wadding, but it can melt a bit depending on what you're using. The garden cushion fell off, hit the hand sanitizer, which hit the pin cushion, the whole lot fell on the floor, in case you wonder what that bang was. So just take care not to touch it too much with the iron or put another piece of fabric on it. But do press it open at this stage because you'll need it later. You'll need these seams to be pressed open later. Press it open and then, as I always do, turn it over. It's getting quite big now, isn't it? But this is, I love this dark denim with the amethyst lining fabric. It's a really nice combination. But you can choose any lining fabric you want, whatever you fancy. You could even use 2 denims if you want it, you know, really bulky. You can take those pins out now. We're done. We've got nice straight handles now. And so look, that's how that works. You've now got the handle. It looks like a very strange apron, doesn't it? So we've now got to do exactly the same, unfortunately, with the other one. So you just have to bear with me. So when you are sewing them together, put the lining one on top because of the wadding. If you've got the lining underneath, then you won't really know what's going on with the wadding. And so even with the iron-ons, even with some of the wadding that's iron-on, it comes off a bit. So I'm just going to sew this one together. Then I'm going, because I haven't got long left, I don't have time. I'm going to sew this and then I'll show you how the rest of it works because I'm not going to have time. But don't worry, because the instructions have got all of these measurements, all of this information, and photographs. So we'll explain all to do. This is a really easy make, by the way. I know it looks like we've got layers and layers and complicated, but there's no zips. There's no fastenings. You can use fabric from your stash. You can use wadding interfacing if you want to. If you use thick canvas on both sides, you don't even then need to use wadding. So it's a really good way of using up fabric. Calico is a really good thing for it. Brilliant for putting toys in. But you could use it for your sewing stash as well. But, you know, once you've got the instructions, you can do it for anything. So if you've got like children's themed fabric, you could keep books in them. It's the sort of thing as well you could fold up and put in your suitcase. When you go on holiday, you could use it then. You know, it's like on holiday when you've got all the shoes in all the places, or newspapers, and it's a really useful thing to have on holiday to take with you because it's soft, it folds up really easily. Right, that's the end of that one. So, because I am running out of time, I think I've showed you the hard bits anyway. Press that seam open, obviously. And again, remove that. So now we've got a handle on both sides. So what we do now, it's almost the same way as you would make a zip purse. You put these right sides together so that the outers are facing and the linings are facing. And you sew them together. Make sure the handles don't get caught in the seam. So all you've got to do is make sure you fold them out of the way. Match up, this is the most important part when doing this, is match up these seams because these will run across the top. So make sure the seams are open. I'm going to get in close so you can see this. This is really important because you will get a much neater finish. Match up the seams. So make sure that they're lining up across the edge there. Okay, and then if you get close into this, you'll see what I mean. Yeah, from above, from overhead, Perfect. So make sure that this measures up, this matches up. Then push a pin through here, and then make sure that that goes through the seam exactly there. Okay, then take a pin and push it through just 1/4 of an inch from the top and make sure that goes exactly through the seam there and push it through. Keep those pins in like that. Now take another pin, make sure the seams are pressed open still, and pin across the top where that vertical pin is. Take another pin and pin where that vertical pin is. Then you can take them out. Now when you sew, you won't need to take this pin out because that's 1/4 of an inch and you'll be sewing 1/2 an inch. You can sew all the way through there. You know that the area between those two pins will match up exactly because they do there. When you get to it, you can remove that pin just as you get to it if you need to, but that one can stay in. So sew them together, but what you need to do is you sew them down the sides, so down both sides, and sew them along both bottom edge and bottom edge. But for the lining one, you need to leave a gap because you're going to turn this right way out through this gap. So leave a gap in the lining here. Don't sew around these corners because those are for the boxing bit. When you've done that, you will then do, I haven't got time to show you, but there are really good pictures in the instructions of how to create the box corners. Once you've sewn it, then you've boxed the corners, turn it right sides out, and then you just top stitch across the top, and that's done. It's really, really quick make. I mean, I've done all of that, and I've probably got another 15 minutes of sewing to do, and then it will be made. So there we go. Anyway, I haven't got time to finish it off. Now, if you want just the instructions on their own, which we still have, that's the storage basket instructions. Oh, I'm going to move. Right. So instructions on their own, which I have, oh, got those, are £9.99. And again, remember, you can use these instructions for any of the birds that you want, or you can use them for your own fabric. So if you've got something like a lovely tea towel with a really nice picture on the front and you don't want to use it as a tea towel, perfect. I love reusing tea towels for things, and then you can use other fabric for the outsides. Or maybe you've got ones that kids have done at school and you could use that. Or you can just use a nice piece of fabric that you like, up to you. Or in the same way as we did the back, you could just cut the back and the front the same. You don't have to put a bird in the centre if you don't want to. You just make the back and the front the same. Once you see the instructions, you'll understand how it works. So that's the instructions on their own. If you want the panel on its own, so that is the Goldfinch panel. Remember, the bird, brand new this month. So if you're collecting them for the quilt, then you need to get it. That's £9.99, and the bird is 10.5 inches square, and then you get 5 2.5 by 43 inch complementary slips that strips that go across. Remember, if you are making the full quilt, at the end I'll be showing you how to make the quilt with the panel like the one I had hanging up, but I'm also designing one at the moment that's a bit more special. So you'll have two choices depending on what sort of quilt you want to make. If you want to buy the instructions and the panel, then you will save £1, so that's £18.99. So you get the Goldfinch panel and you get the storage basket kit instructions. Now, if there's any birds that you've missed out on, last month's are sold out. So we will try and get that one back. The others are still available. So if you go onto the website, you will see them. What's the most popular then, Hannah? J is the most popular. Is that the most popular all time? No, sorry, the most popular today. We'll have to have a look and see since the beginning of time what the most popular has been. But the most popular today has been the J. And the J is lovely, isn't it? I love the teal background for that. Also, the barn owl has been massively popular, but he's not on the quilt because he was the pigeon. But there's the barn owl. Love the barn owl. He'd make a nice storage basket. He was for the February. And then the wren panel. There, you can see what they look like. See what the panels look like. I love the wren panel because whereas a lot of them have the same colour strips, you've got the wren and then you've got these strips where they're in the sort of the pale wren colours, and then you've got one pink one there. Now that's just it folded in half. Look at that. They are all this size. All of them have the bird with the 2.5 by 43 inch strips, and there are 5 of them. So there's loads of things you can make with them. And with the majority of the instructions, I've used them for either bits of patchwork or pockets or backs or linings, all sorts of things. In the birdhouse peg bag, the whole of the birdhouse is made from the strips so that it really matches. Anyway, so we're going to have a quick break now. I'll clear everything up, and Barbara will be back with us in just a few minutes' time where it's all about Christmas sacks and Christmas makes. I will see you back here in 2 minutes' time.
Keep up to date with what's on Sewing Street and Yarn Lane, as well as all the latest news and special offers by signing up to our email newsletters. For Sewing Street, head on over to www.sewingstreet.com. Scroll down to the bottom of the homepage, type in your email address, click the envelope, and you're done. It's exactly the same for Yarn Lane. Head on over to www.yarnlane.com. Scroll down to the bottom of the homepage, type in your email address, click the envelope, and that's it. You are now subscribed to both Sewing Street's and Yarn Lane's email newsletters, so you'll never miss out on the latest news and special offers ever again. We know that shopping online can be a confusing and sometimes daunting task, and sometimes all you want to do is talk to a human being. Well, our family-run customer service team are on call 24/7. They're full of friendly, warm-hearted individuals, all trained to make your shopping experience as easy and as enjoyable as possible. And not only will they take your order, they will also help and guide you on your shopping journey, so you never miss out.
Hi, I'm Wendy Orlando and I'm a craft blogger. You can find me over at thecraftyco.com, and if you do head on over and have a peep, you will see that I'm a tutorial blogger. I do all kinds of crafts, but my passions are crochet, knitting and sewing, which I've done for over 45 years. In that time I've made lots of mistakes, but I have learnt lots of tricks and top tips that I can't wait to share. What I'd like to bring to the Sewing Street table is to show that you don't need to have gone to university or have a degree in design to be able to sew. You just need passion, a bit of courage to take the first steps, and a whole lot of patience. Oh, and an unpicker. You will need an unpicker. I do hope that you will follow me as I take my Sewing Street journey, and I look forward to seeing you all again soon.
If you're a Sewing Street or Yarn Lane customer, no matter how many times you check out in one day, you will only pay one postage and packaging. So don't wait to add the item you want to your basket and check out. You will only pay one P&P even if you check out multiple times in one day. Missed the live show? Don't worry, we recorded it for you. Never miss out on your favourite presenters, guests and makes ever again. Head on over to our YouTube pages to watch back the day's live show and enjoy your favourite demos over and over again. We also have lots of great content exclusive to our YouTube pages, such as product demonstrations, troubleshooting videos, and so much more. Subscribe and turn on the bell notification so you never miss a show or video ever again.
Keep up to date with what's on Sewing Street and Yarn Lane, as well as all the latest news and special offers by signing up to our email newsletters. For Sewing Street, head on over to www.sewingstreet.com. Scroll down to the bottom of the homepage, type in your email address, click the envelope and you're done. It's exactly the same for Yarn Lane. Head on over to www.yarnlane.com. Scroll down to the bottom of the homepage, type in your email address, click the envelope and that's it. You are now subscribed to both Sewing Street's and Yarn Lane's email newsletters, so you'll never miss out on the latest news and special offers ever again. We know that shopping online can be a confusing and sometimes daunting task, and sometimes all you want to do is talk to a human being. Well, our family-run customer service team are on call 24/7. They're full of friendly, warm-hearted individuals, all trained to make your shopping experience as easy and as enjoyable as possible. And not only will they take your order, they will also help and guide you on your shopping journey, so you never miss out.
Hi, I'm Wendy Orlando and I'm a craft blogger. You can find me over at thecraftyco.com, and if you do head on over and have a peep, you will see that I'm a tutorial blogger. I do all kinds of crafts, but my passions are crochet, knitting and sewing, which I've done for over 45 years. In that time I've made lots of mistakes, but I have learnt lots of tricks and top tips that I can't wait to share. What I'd like to bring to the Sewing Street table is to show that you don't need to have gone to university or have a degree in design to be able to sew. You just need passion, a bit of courage to take the first steps, and a whole lot of patience. Oh, and an unpicker. You will need an unpicker. I do hope that you will follow me as I take my Sewing Street journey, and I look forward to seeing you all again soon.
If you're a Sewing Street or Yarn Lane customer, no matter how many times you check out in one day, you will only pay one postage and packaging. So don't wait to add the item you want to your basket and check out. You will only pay one P&P even if you check out multiple times in one day.
And welcome back to Sewing Street. This hour is all about Christmas sacks, because what a great way to wrap your presents. Well, a good way to store them. I always think you don't have to spend as much on the presents if you've got a nice sack to put them in. We have got some fantastic panels for you today, and we've got some special offers with a bundle as well. And Barbara's going to show us some ideas of what to do with them. So to start off, we've got the large bundle. Now, in the large bundle, you make a saving. You get one. I'll show you them in a minute. 2, 3, 4 large Christmas bag panels. That is what the panels look like. So, like that one at the top left, you've got Father Christmas and Elf. That's the front and the back of the bag. Then you've got the 2 bag linings. But on that panel as well, you've got the outers and the linings to make 2 smaller bags. Now, if you use your own fabric for them, for the backs, you can make 2 big sacks and 2 small ones. But in this bundle where you save £5, so for £54.96, you can make sacks small of these. So if you use your own fabric for the backing, you can make loads. I've taken the picture of 1, 2, 3, 4. You can make loads. 32 bags. Yeah, which is quite a lot, isn't it? That's all your Christmas wrapping done. And we've got 4 different styles. We've got the Father Christmas, the houses, the baubles, and the post sack. So should we have a look at them? Right. We'll do the medium bundle and then they'll let me show you. Let me show you. So that's the large bundle. So you have got a lot on there. Right. Then we have the medium bundle. And again, you have got 4 panels in here. They're smaller ones, but I'll show them to you. So £46.96, you save £5 and you get 4 bundles. Now, each of the panels will make 1 sack, but you've got a front and a back and 2 linings. But as I say, if you used your own fabric for the back, then you can make 2 sacks from each bundle, which means you can make 8 in total. But you've also got those lining fabrics, which are Christmas themed. So if you, again, use the lining fabric for the front, so you've got a lovely print, then you can make 4 from each bundle. So that makes 16. So it depends what you want to do and how you want to do it. So that bundle, £46.96, you save £5. And those are the 4 panels you get. You get the Father Christmas and the Elf panel, you get the baubles, you get the post sack, and you get the house, the advent calendar house. So we do them individually now. Should we do the big ones? Large. Right, so if you want to buy these individually, this is massive. This is massive. These are totally, completely exclusive to us. So there's the front of the bag, which is the Father Christmas. First time, brand new, on air today. Now this panel is £14.99. So you've got the Father Christmas on the front, you've got the elf on the back. Then you've got the lining, which is Father Christmas on the elf's hats. Then another lining here. But on the panel as well, you've got a smaller bag. So on the small pouch, you've got Father Christmas and the elf together. Front of it, back of it. And then you've got linings. Oh, okay. No, this is 2 pouches. I've worked this out. So there's the front and the back. And that's the lining for those. That's the front and the back and lining. So you've actually got enough to make 1 big sack and 2 small. But as I said, if you use your own fabric for the back or the linings, you've got even more. So you could have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Value is absolutely amazing for that. Now, this is the one, this is the Father Christmas made up. And Barbara, look at that. She has put pom-poms on. There's a buckle, there's sparkly bits. They've got a drawstring top on them, so you could put a ribbon in that. You could put the person's name on them. $14.99 for one. That's what the other side looks like. This is going to sell out. We have got very, very few of these panels on their own because loads that went on pre-order. So if you want to make personalised sacks for people this year, what a fantastic price, because as I say, you've got enough to make 2 big and 4 small if you used your own fabric for the backing. That's the Father Christmas and Elf one. The next one is got deers on. Oh, this is the express delivery one. This is the Christmas postal bag. Again, brand new on air today, totally 100% exclusive to us. So look at the front of that. The North Pole Express special delivery, December the 25th. I love this one. So this is less childlike. So you could use this for adults as well. I mean, children would love it, wouldn't it? And it is crying out to be embroidered. Their name, I think, across here. Or a pliqued. You could cut out shells, shape letters, bondweb them on, sew them on. Barbara's going to talk us through how to make them in a minute. Don't worry, we're not going to just make you guess. But obviously you could use these for adults as well. So you've got the back, the front, or you've got 2 sacks. You've got the lovely prancing reindeers, and they're all printed on this Hessian print. So it looks like an old Hessian bag. So there's the lining. Again, you also have the little bags. Now, this is one that Barbara's made up, but she's put a zip in the top of hers. But you could make it as just a little drawstring bag, but it's nice with a little zip, isn't it? So, you know, or you could make it into, you give that to somebody, they ended up using it like for a wash bag or for put their jewellery or something in. So on the panel, you've got, these are different sizes. You've got the small bag front, the small bag back. I've worked this out now. Now I've worked it out. You've got the small bag lining and the small back lining. But then there's the pouch. So the pouch is slightly smaller than the small bag. So you've got the pouch front, the pouch back, the pouch lining, pouch line. But again, if you use your own fabric, you know, you could have 4 small bags, 4 small pouches, and then you could have 4 big bags. So that's a lot, isn't it? Depends how you want to do it. But for $14.99, no instructions with this. This is purely for your inspiration. So if you want to make, you know, under the tree this year, instead of having wrapped presents in Christmas wrapping paper, you could have a pile of sacks. So if you bought, we've got calico, we have plain fabric all on the website. So if you want to make 4 big bags, 4 small bags, 4 pouches for $14.99, then the whole of underneath of your tree is going to look amazing this Christmas, isn't it? And you can knot them very tightly at the top so nobody can get in. But wouldn't it look lovely to have all of your presents in wrapped bags? And for $14.99, you get a lot of them there. That's another one. Remember, we're doing a special £5 off if you want to buy all 4 panels together. This one is Hannah's favourite. I haven't decided yet. This is the large bauble. Oh, I like that. That makes me think that's really very retro, 1950s, isn't it? It's very 50s baubles, and I think the font is very 50s. So if you got all of these, you've got children's ones, adult ones. They're kind of, there's some of them that would go for any age, any sex. They're not very specific, are they? I quite like that. So you've got there's the bag front. This is if you use them like that. That's the bag back. I love that one. Again, brand new today and exclusive. That's the lining with all this rick-rack. Then you've got, let me show you the small bag. So the small bag has got the baubles on the front. Right, the Elf and Santa panel was sold out completely, one on its own. The only way of getting that is you need to buy the bundle where you buy all 4 panels. The pouch front, you've got stockings on, and then obviously you've got all the lining. So remember, use your own fabric, make it go even further, and very eco-friendly. None of that wrapping paper. And then when everyone's no sellotape, and when everyone's finished unwrapping their presents, you've just got a lovely little pile of bags. You can put all their presents in, tidy it all away, and keep them for next, get them all back. So I'll have those for next year, thank you. And then finally, this is the house one. This is lovely. Right. Isn't that lovely? So Christmas, look, I mean, you really want to embroider this, or I do. Look at the wreath. That's asking for loads of French knots all over it, isn't it? And the roof. It's even got a robin on the roof. So there's the front of the bag. Then the back has got a bag. Merry Christmas. It's got a little path going up to it. And then it's got a cat. Look, it's got a cat with Father Christmas on it. So that's the front of the bag. That's the back. The lining is lots of little houses. Then a look at the little bags. So the small bag, it's just exactly the same as the big one. This one's got snow on the roof though. And a robin. That's got a cat in the windowsill and a cat there. That robin keeps moving around. Yeah, he's in different places. And then the pouch, which is slightly smaller, just a little version of the house. And then we've got all the linings. But again, remember, use your own fabric, make it go further. That's $14.99 for the house bag. I love that. Gorgeous. So you've got to now just choose which one you want to buy. Tricky, I know. Right, if you want all four of the big, we've got so many options for you here. So we've got big, so the big has got a bag, a large bag, a small bag and a pouch. If you want the bundle for all four of those, so you've got the house print, you've got the baubles print one, you've got the post sack one. Oh, there's a picture of them all. That's easier, isn't it? And then you've got the Father Christmas one. If you want all of those, $54.96, that saves you £5. These panels are massive. They're 140 centimetre wide, so I'm guessing they're a metre long. It probably says, and we'll check that in a minute, but it's probably a metre long. That's all of them. Now, medium panels, different. The prints are, so the large panels are 140 by 113. Now, medium panels, again, we're doing a bundle so that you can have all four of them for a special price. The medium panels are different. They just have their medium sacks. So this is just the one sack, whereas those large ones have got big sacks, pouches, small bags. These are just one sack. But, where's my tape measure gone? Just so you know the size of the actual sack on here. It is 13 inches wide by 17 inches long, high. Now on this you get the front of the sack, the back of the sack and the two linings, but as always you can, if you want, if you want to use them for Christmas wrapping, you can make 4 sacks from this because you don't have to line them. Yeah, or you can use your own fabric for the lining. That's up to you. So $12.99 for the Elf and Santa medium sack panel. Is this the medium one? Yes. Right. I thought so. Just checking. Look at all the things on here. So this is what Barbara has made from the medium sack panel. Now she's got really creative. She's got sequins all over her. She's got pom-poms. There's bells. She's done embroidery for the belt. And then there's Father Christmas. Look at him with his shiny boots. They're amazing. Look at him. So you can really go to town on these, make them super special. So, if you're buying somebody a present and you give it to them, if you're buying them like a Christmas jumper or a pair of socks and pants, if you put them in this, it's just how special is that? And then even if you do feel you have to wrap it, you could just wrap it in tissue paper and put it inside. But what a lovely thing to have. Also, I think sometimes, when you just can't decide what to buy for someone for Christmas, if you buy them 5 small things like some shower gel, their favourite chocolate bar, a smelly, something like that, and you put it all into a sack, it looks like you've gone to a lot of effort. And it can be a lot more personal. I always think it's easier to buy people small fun things than it is to buy them one large present. a book, colouring pens. I love Christmas shopping. If you need any ideas, give me a shout. I love it. Absolutely love present shopping. Right, this is the house medium bag panel. So you've got the front of the house there, and then you've got Merry Christmas on the back of the house. You've got the cat, the robin, and then the lining is like this. Just like that. Again, you can choose whether you use the whole panel to line them. I love these. I'm thinking I'm going to wrap all mine in bags this year. The large bag mega bundle, there are only 5 of those left.
Wow.
So Barbara and I are going home now.
Yeah. Can have a break.
Done our job. We're going home now. Talk amongst yourselves. We're going for a coffee. Yeah, sounds good. Oh, shall I turn it around the right way? This is the bauble medium sack panel. We wish you a Merry Christmas. Love this one. I think this one might be my favourite as well. Yeah, I love the font. But I like these baubles because they look like those really old-fashioned glass baubles. But maybe it's the knitter in me. It looks like it's got a fair old knitting pattern on it. And look at the lining. Look. But, you know, pair of knitted socks. Actually, on Yarn Lane, we sell pre-made knitted socks in beautiful blue face Leicester. They are honestly the most comfortable socks I've ever worn. They sent me a pair for free and I've worn them ever since. So buy a pair of socks. They are beautiful. Make a bag, put them in. People will be so impressed by the bag you've made. Won't matter what you put inside it. And then finally, this is the sack Christmas postal bag. This is definitely needs the person's name on it. Even if you just buy a permanent marker pen and write their name on it. These are really expensive to buy personalised. You can do it yourself. $12.99. You've got to, at the very least, I would use a plain fabric for the back and I'd make this into 2 bags. It doesn't really need to be lined. I would use, actually, no, I wouldn't bother lining it. This is me being lazy. I would have that for the front, that for the back, and that for the front, and that for the back. So at least you've got 2 bags, but you could have 4. Okay, so that is all 4 individually. Now, if you want to buy them all together as a mega bundle, Hannah, I thought she'd left me then. £46.96. Save £5 for the medium Christmas bag fabric panel mega bundle. Save £5. Fantastic, isn't it? Okay. Right, so Barbara. Hello. We've seen this beautiful bag.
You have.
So how do you do it? The very basic, I guess it needs to be a drawstring bag.
It's just a drawstring bag.
How would you, if you had the panel, where do we start?
So I'm going to use the house one.
Right, okay.
It really does lend itself to loads of embellishment, doesn't it?
You embellish it first?
Yes, you would do.
Okay.
So for this one, I've got some thread here. And like you said, I'm just going to do a couple of French knots in this bit here, because I think, and it's metallic as well, so it's going to stand out
really
a little
add a bit of sparkle.
Yeah.
So 5 pieces. So that's, what sort of thread is that?
This is the metallic. Is it DMC?
DMC metallic. Yeah. Is it metallic stranded?
It is metallic stranded.
Okay. Christmas embroidery skein bundle, 5 pieces. So you've got a blue, gold, silver, red and white.
And I'm using green.
And Barbara's using green.
And I'm using green. So I'm just going to take a couple of strands, not too many. And I stuck a pin down here. Right, a needle, sorry. There we go. They've got tiny, tiny little, can you see them little tiny stockings as well?
Oh, have they? Oh, let me have a look. I'll have a look on mine. Oh
You
yes,
see
look at the window. There's like
tiny, tiny ones in there.
It depends on the size of one. On the bigger one, you can really see it more. Oh, there's so much detail, isn't there? There's even wreaths around the top of them.
You could put them in here as well. You could French knot all of this here.
Yeah, oh, you could put lights in it.
You could,
you?
yeah.
Embroidered
It'd be lovely.
lights.
I think this one.
This is the sort of one that could become a real, the stocking that they have every year.
You could put their name on the door. You
So
could put
instead
it
of having
the
the stocking at the end of the bed, this could be the sack.
The sack
it?
at the end of the
because
bed,
it's beautiful. There's so much you could do on it. You could even applique real curtains on, couldn't you?
Yeah, that'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Oh, you could get really carried away. I'm thinking what you could do is cut out some of that clear PVC, put that on the back, then put curtains. Stop.
We'll have a doll's house.
Yeah, and then just keep it to yourself.
Yeah. It'd be too nice to give to anybody. Actually, this would make...
from Jackie. Got the house panel.
Oh,
That's
brilliant.
2 wall hangings, 2 cushions and 2 book covers.
Yeah, I was
sorted
gonna
as a present. Absolutely, Jackie, I'm loving it. Book covers.
Oh.
Honestly, I love the house panel. I think it's absolutely gorgeous.
This would make a nice
I'm thinking
front of a quilt as
that
well.
stuffed quilting that
Yeah.
you did on the house.
Yes, you could. It'd be lovely.
Would look amazing, wouldn't it? Oh, yeah, I mean, for $14.99, you've got a lot of presents going on here. As Jackie said, she's got book covers and everything.
You could also use those small pouches as like inside pockets as well, or pockets on the outside. You know,
so
just
you
to
could
give
put that
that.
on. Yes.
Then you could put the
you could
little
have
bar
a
of.
special secret little extra present.
Yeah,
in
you
there.
could.
Oh.
I think I'd
yes.
prefer a smaller package. They tend to be more expensive.
Well, and I like the way that you've made one with a zip.
Like you say, it could be used as a wash bag. You can buy those kits, you know, those sewing machine, not sewing machine. What I've got sewing on the brain.
Funny that.
Yeah. Oh dear. Wash kits, you know that you buy them in the boxes, or you can do the little
toiletry sets.
Yeah, or
so
the
if
samples.
you used a little bit of waterproof fabric, have we got any of the ripstop on the website, Hannah? So, bit of ripstop, which we have on the website, you could use that for the lining. Yeah, one of those toiletry gift sets that come in a horrible box with plastic.
Could take it out.
Get rid of all that.
Yeah,
put it in here.
It'd be lovely.
Ooh.
See how
I do think if you make a gift bag, suddenly you need to spend less on the present.
Yes,
don't you?
definitely.
Because then they've got that.
I wouldn't want to give it to them though.
No, especially once I've put clear PVC in the windows and special.
Curtains.
No, they're not having it then.
Yeah, and little lights.
Right. And I've done a bit of trapunto work on. And the baubles would look amazing with trapunto, wouldn't they? Each little one would be stuffed. But then, you know, every year, this is like, because, you know, you have advent calendars that you make each year, but to have a special Christmas sack. Oh, I love this.
I think with the medium ones, they'd actually lend themselves to tote bags as well. You could make...
yeah, that's true, actually. Yeah.
Just using, you wouldn't have
necessarily...
necessarily...
Yeah, the medium ones could be a tote bag.
Yeah, because you've got...
For going for your Christmas shopping.
Yeah. And because you've got the white strip along the top here, on the top here, you can use that because you've got white in here, just as the handle, so you won't...
Yes, because there's always extra fabric,
yeah,
isn't
there's
there?
always
So
a little bit
that's
extra.
true. But, you know, it's really nice to... I always like to have special things like this, a bit like that Tim Holtz fabric that I can then use with all the massive stash that I pretend that I don't own. Yeah. So we've all got a bit of fabric that we could use for the handles or some webbing or the edges, but it's nice to sort of feel that you've used some of your stash up. But that would be lovely for your Christmas shopping, wouldn't it?
So I've just
a lot of people also have a tradition. I always wish I'd started this. My children's too late now. They all have a new pair of pyjamas on Christmas Eve. I think that's a lovely thing.
Yeah,
because I'd like a new pair of pyjamas.
My sister-in-law, and my brother do that with their children.
Well, wouldn't
but
it be
they all
nice
have matching?
If the Christmas pyjamas were always in the special bag?
Yeah, that would be nice.
So if you bought the big mega bundle, which I'm not sure we've got many left of, everybody could have their own bag for their Christmas pyjamas, couldn't they?
Yeah. Would you have fluffy pyjamas or just normal like cotton ones?
Yeah, well, I don't think I'd sleep in fluffy pyjamas. I'd get too hot, but I would like fluffy ones for the day.
Like just wander around.
Yeah.
Do you get dressed on Christmas Day?
Sadly, yes.
Do you? I don't.
Well, we always have people round or we go somewhere. We've never had a Christmas just the family on our own. We always go to some other family, so you can't.
We used to.
Get dressed if you leave the house.
Oh, I'm just trimming that bit off. I've got a
normally
little tag.
Thought about not. I don't normally get dressed on New Year's Day.
My very first one, when the boys all left home, and we had Christmas on our own, we just drank. we just drank and then we slept for the rest of the day. It was lovely. Made a change.
That's nice. Do you have a Chinese?
No, we always try and have something different. So last year we had venison. Sometimes we have duck. We tried pheasant. So just we just had a different Christmas dinner rather than.
Some of mine have left home, but they keep coming back. They're always there for Christmas.
It might be different this year because we've got the grandchildren this year, so it'll be their very first Christmas.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh, that brings out the best sewer in all of us. I'm thinking Christmas pyjamas for the grandchildren, definitely in a special Christmas sack. So you're making anyway. You're supposed to be talking about the show, not about Christmas.
So you can just see on here. So I've just embellished.
Can we have a close up, please, Bob?
I've just embellished the little tree.
There's Barbara's embellishment on the tree. Oh, that's lovely.
Just
look at that. All you need to do is chat about what you eat for Christmas, and you can decorate a whole tree during that.
Definitely. That's the
you
quickest
could
I've
sew a
decorated
bow.
a tree.
I'm getting carried away now.
Yeah.
You could sew a bow. If you got that really fine ribbon, you could bring it through from the outside and tie it in a bow.
Yeah.
On top of that.
With the PVC windows and the curtains.
That's getting too much now. I'm definitely not
great.
giving this away now.
Oh dear.
With the PVC windows. Real things.
As long as it's not PVC actually inside.
No, just that clear. Well, they often use it for like wash bags, don't they? We had it on the other week.
Imagine if you cut them out actually, you know, and use them.
I know, we're getting carried away now. But there's so much, it just shows you how much detail though.
Yeah.
I definitely have a button for the doorknob.
Yeah, a little gold one. It'd have to be in the centre though.
Yes.
Posh houses
have
them in the centre, don't they?
I never knew that.
Yeah, they do, and they have them, those arches.
They do,
don't they? It could be a porch. You could, you know, build pad it out, make
it's
it
actually
into an actual
quite like
porch.
a house in Bath, except for the one colour roof, but it's got that kind of stone.
No, see, you say Bath, I say Bath. My husband tells me off and says it's Bath.
Yeah, but if you live in Bath, you say Bath.
It's Bath.
It's the people who live up north that say Bath,
Definitely.
and they don't live in Bath.
Right. So I've embellished this.
Right.
We could
do that first.
Do all
then
of the
how do we
embellishment.
make it into a bag?
So,
I guess that's sort of important, isn't it?
Right. So what we need to do is, I'll do the outside first. So what we're going to do is put right sides together. And I love these because they're all the right size. So even when you cut them out,
think about measuring.
no, she says. There we are. And then what we'll do is stitch all the way round and leave the top open. So that'll be what I'll do first. Just I'll pin it in place quickly. I'll say you could put a little house pocket inside, couldn't you?
So have we got any of the bundles left, Hannah? So the bundle-wise, the large bundle, which you save a £5, there's only 2 left. And the medium bundle, there are 9 of those left, where you save a £5 as well. Yeah. So you still save £5, but the panels are smaller. So that's the medium one, £46.96. Perfect for your Christmas pyjamas or any other gifts may apply. £46.96, there are 9 of those left. For the bundle for the large ones, where you've got the large bag, the small bag and the pouch, or many, many more if you use your own fabric for the linings, which are lovely. I like the fact that some of the houses have snow on them as well. That's £46.96, only 2 of those left for the bundle of all 4, where you get the houses, the baubles, the elf and Santa, and one other, the post sack. But are they all still available separately? No. So, yeah, so in the larger one, Santa and the Elf was sold out. And the small postal Christmas sack has sold out. But with the small postal sack, there are more people in baskets than we have in stock. So basically, if you want one of these and you want the bundle, make it quick because we've only got a couple of left. And if you want them individually, you need to do that quite quickly as well.
Okay. So you could overlock the edges, but I'm not doing that obviously just for time. But
if you're lining it, you wouldn't need to.
No, you wouldn't need to. But if you wanted to use it,
you could.
You
so
could.
if you're making it without the lining, because you want to make it go further,
and then you could actually add some bits to the end of this and make these into like big cushions that go on the bed as well.
Yeah, they could be cushions, that's true. I'm thinking of them just as bags, but they could be cushions.
So that's our outer bag.
Right. Lovely.
Okay. And then we've got the middle bit, or the lining, sorry. So again, we're right sides together, but when we sew it, we're going to leave a gap down the bottom so that we can turn it.
The turning gap.
Yeah, the turning gap.
That's the one that I always forget. I always have to put big marks or pins on.
Yeah.
So I go all around and go, ah!
I forgot that. I'm going to have to unpick it now. Just make sure your houses are up the right way. Oh yes,
that's true. I love the lining of this one.
Seems a shame to put them inside,
I know,
doesn't it?
I know. But looks posh.
It does look posh. Posh houses for posh presents. I think these would make nice, you know, if you bought someone something for the house.
Yes.
So the little pouches with the houses on, if you bought somebody like smelly candles or, you know, they'd be nice.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, if you use well, it doesn't need to be lined. You don't even need to use your own lining because that's. I mean, obviously, if you're going to make it and you want it to last for many, many years, then put a lining in. But it can be just a bit of calico. It doesn't have to be this beautiful house fabric.
And they're thick enough that if you don't line them
and
you want to put a present inside, you can't see.
No,
what
no, that's the good thing.
Yeah.
Because A, they don't rip, and you can't see through them.
Yeah.
Unless you put PVC windows in, obviously. Now that'd be good, wouldn't it? Because you could put that and you could just have a little sneaky peek then.
Yeah.
Couldn't you? Look through the window and guess what your present is. I'm loving this. I need to start Christmas traditions all over again. I haven't even started my Christmas shopping yet either. Not one present. I know, not one. I haven't even thought about them
I've
yet.
made some. I've done some.
I've thought
cooking.
about what I'm going to make. I haven't started that either, but I've thought about it. That's my favourite bit, actually, is the what am I going to make? And you think, how much time have I actually realistically got? And what am I going to make this Christmas? I haven't started yet.
I made chutney one year. My husband was in the army and he came home. Oh, shh! You didn't see that bit, did you?
No.
That's all right then. Phew. Didn't take the pin out.
Oh.
Oops. Yeah, he came home once. He'd been on exercise and he came home with a sack of onions. It was about this size actually.
Where had he found them? In a field?
No, because they go on exercise and they cook obviously in the
field.
field.
I thought he was on exercise in a field.
No.
And he found a bag of onions.
He was on exercise in a field, but the cook had a big sack of onions.
He didn't find a random sack of onions.
No.
Whilst exercising in a field.
Yeah, I sent him out to pick them.
So the cook
gave him this great big bag of onions, and he said he came home and said, "Oh, I've got these for you, just so you could do something with them." And I made everybody chutney.
Onion chutney?
Yeah, it was delicious.
Was it? I'm rubbish at making
really
chutney.
Nice.
Mine always just tastes like sort of vinegar that's not...
Yeah, the house stank.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
Because you obviously breaking down the vinegar and whatnot.
Yeah, but it smelled for days.
To move all the clothing out. I had to take the sacks out because I didn't want them to smell. Then they would have guessed what was in their sack.
There's a funny smell of onion chutney to these sacks. Funny you should say that.
Okay. Just trim the corners so that when you push them out, they'll be... Oh. Okay. Now I have to think about this now. So, it has to be that way around. Does it have to be that way around?
Well, I don't know, as long as they're right sides together.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah, that's right. I do that and then I turn around and go no, and then I go back to where I was originally.
I hate it, and when you stitch it all round and then you do it, you think, no.
Quite annoying that, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Many times.
Okay.
You put the outer inside the inner. So I got a bit of a cough. Just don't get time. Barbara's laughing now.
Oh dear. I shouldn't laugh at your misfortune.
My
should I?
misfortune,
I'm
I've
sorry.
got time for a cup of tea.
I'll make you one before I go.
Bless.
Right.
That'll be then you finish then.
You still won't have time.
No, I'm alright. I'm alright now.
Medic! Okay, I'm just joining the sides up, the side seams, so that they... otherwise you end up with a weird...
Yes.
It doesn't fold properly, does it, if you don't do that? So I'll join the seams up first.
Shame they missed the fabric clips that we had earlier.
Oh, and I missed them as well.
I know, you
Didn't
missed them
get
as
them in
well.
the basket quick enough.
We'll be frisking you on the way out and see if you've got them in your pockets. It's a good job they don't have a search thing on the way out. You'd have been sacked by now. Yeah, I just think, oh, that's nice. Luckily, you see, not everybody thinks the same.
No.
If we all sewed, it would be a nightmare. We would be like a bun
Well, there
fight.
wouldn't be anything here, would
no,
there?
it would. The place would be stripped bare, and the warehouse would wonder where all their stock had gone.
Yeah.
It's just me.
Okay.
Please don't come to my house at any point.
I'm going to follow you home.
That's why I have to live so far from the studio, just in case anyone comes around.
I'm going to sit outside, wait till it's dark.
Yeah.
Follow you home. See what goodies you take
See
out the
what
boot.
I've taken with me this time.
Okay. I'm just moving those pins before I drop them. Okay, so I've just pinned round, I've just clipped round the edge of the bag. Okay.
Right sides together, matching
Right
side
sides,
seams.
yep. Let's take that off so I can use the arm. And then I'm just going to
so
do...
quick, isn't it? So I reckon if you went for it over a weekend, you buy all, get them all done.
Mm.
Well, I like to buy matching wrapping paper each year, so it looks nice under my tree. But if you had all bags under your tree...
Yeah. What colour do you normally have?
Oh, it doesn't matter. I change it every year.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I'm not that fussy. I often go that kind of brown paper route, you know, I think I'm quite classy, and then I change my mind.
I tried that once
Yeah.
with the brown paper and thought I'll do some stamping, except it didn't dry
yeah.
properly and I had it all up my arms.
I
It was all
decided to
over
use
my
crepe
clothes.
paper one year and thought that'd look lovely and it wouldn't stick together with any sellotape or anything. I had to staple all the presents together.
Oh,
So I've given up on being classy now. I'll tell you what I go for, the darker the better, so it's not see-through. What I do is I buy that stuff that florists use, that clear, it's not cling film, is it?
Oh,
you know, what's that?
I know what you mean.
Plastic stuff. Cellophane.
Cellophane.
I buy
that's
cellophane
it.
because you can buy cellophane with like dots on or stars.
Mm-hmm.
Then you can buy really cheap wrapping paper that rips because the cellophane stops
Keeps
that.
it all.
But it looks really posh though. Looks like you've gone to a lot of effort.
Yeah.
But you can buy like 100-metre rolls from florist websites quite cheaply. Not very good for the environment though. But this year, I won't be
Unless
doing
they
that.
leak all over the carpet because you've put flowers in and you haven't sellotaped it properly. Done that before.
But this year, I will be making my own fabric bags for my ridiculously large fabric stash.
When you've got time.
When I'm going to time though. I'm just decided to make some time. So you've sewn it together all the way around the top.
I've stitched it all the way around the top. Now, if you wanted to put a tie in there, you could leave that part open.
Oh, okay.
And then make a channel, and then you can pull your thread through or your cord through, and that would make your drawstring. Like I've done on this bag
on this one here. Oh, that's got a very posh ribbon.
Yeah, I've used ribbon, and then I've folded the ribbon in half and half again with the salvages, with the edges, and then actually made the string using the ribbon.
Oh, that's nice, isn't it? So you've created an extra drawstring top.
It
does look, I mean, I know the lining feels like a waist, but doesn't it look lovely with the lining inside?
It is nice.
I know it's a shame to put it inside, but it looks really nice.
I do like the fact that you can embellish them yourself if you,
so that's up to you what you put. But I really think you can just use up a lot of stuff with these, can't you?
You can, especially if you've got lots of like I don't know, I have in my workshop like tiny bits of ribbon or bits of rickrack or just, and I hate throwing stuff away, so it's all in boxes and
there's just so many oh, and you've boxed the corners on the bottom of this one. Oh, can we have a little look at that? Look,
it's just then it can stand up,
and then they stand up, so you could have a big box corner to make them really stand up.
I like that one.
I'd like
put
that
Lego
one
in that, I think.
Yeah.
For my grandchildren. Not that they're big enough.
But they
Lego
will be.
I love Lego.
So do I. Love it. Love it. Right.
Anyway.
Let's quickly have a look at this and then, we're running out of time. We'll have a look at the grand reveal. It does look lovely with the lining. There's me saying don't line it, and it does look nice, doesn't it?
So, I open that
pop
out.
that in. So then you could do your drawstring. Lovely.
Let's just pop those corners. I think I did those ones, You could use a pokey tool just to make it a bit more. There we are. Take my hand out. So you just fold that over. And then just sew it up. A little stitch in there.
Okay, then put the lining inside.
And
it's
then
done.
put the lining inside. It's done.
Brilliant. That is amazing. So look how easy that was. Easy peasy.
Oh,
thank you so much, Barbara.
That's okay. You're
pleasure.
Very welcome. Thank you.
Look at that. One fabric sad done and ready. We'll have that with lovely lining. We will see you again soon. Thank you so much.
Thank
you.
You.
Which one do you want me to do? Large house panel. That'll be the one I've got out already. That's the one that Barbara was just making now. So we know all about that in great detail, including the PVC windows. So the large house panel. Front, back, linings. Also, remember you've got small bags and pouches as well, both that come with linings. $14.99. There's absolutely loads on that panel. Medium house panel. I know which these are now. Got my head around it. Got it now. Will have sold out by the time now I've got it. So there's the medium house panel where we've got the front, the back and the linings for $12.99 for the medium house bag. And if you want to choose any of the others, have a look on the website, www.sewingstreet.com, click on Watch Live, scroll down from there and you will see all the other panels, whichever ones we've got back in stock. If you do want them, please put them up your basket and check out quite soon because they've been extremely popular. Some of them have sold out already, so I would imagine the others will do soon. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me on Sewing Street today. Don't go anywhere. We have got Jane Crowfoot on Yarn Lane in just a moment's time, which is very exciting. But tomorrow on Yarn Lane, we will have, in Sewing Street even, right, start again. Tomorrow on Sewing Street at 8 o'clock, we have, who's presenting tomorrow, Hannah? Vix will be on with Lewis and Irene over the rainbow quilt with Susie Duncan. Oh, I bet that's nice. Love Lewis and Irene. Adam's in, the lovely Adam. Having a chat with Adam the other day. He's going to come on to Yarn Lane. Not telling you any more than that. Very excited about that. Not yet, but I'll let you know later. 9 o'clock, Adam will be in with his Baker Boy. He was telling me about this. This is his own design, the Baker Boy hat. But I spoke to him the other week. He was spent all day folding up the patterns. So already. 10 o'clock, Susie is back with a square patch quilted bag. 11, Adam's back with Sewn for the Soul. And 12 o'clock, it's the Elna 720 Pro sewing machine. But Do not go anywhere. We have got, very excited, Jane Crowfoot on now, on Yarn Lane, with her beautiful crochet blankets and her new book. Oh, wow, they are beautiful. She is the queen of the crochet blanket. Already on pre-order. If you are a Sewing Street customer, your P&P and your account and everything is covered over to Yarn Lane. If you're watching me on the TV, stay where you are because it's the same channel. If you've never crocheted, never knitted, you'll just enjoy this. You'll get some inspiration. You might start learning to crochet, but you will enjoy it. If you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, you need to go on to www.yarnlane.com. I will see you back in a few minutes' time. Don't go anywhere unless you're going to get a cup of tea. You are going to love the next hour, but thank you for joining me on Sewing Street this morning.